Check, check, check. Yeah, we got it now.
That's fine. I should have checked it before. Yeah.
Maybe
I'll just make
maybe
sure.
get all that stuff and get a cord wrap around it so that that can't happen anymore, so that it gives it some stress relief back there. Cool. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Wiring problems. What's going on, everybody? Here's now. Looks like it. Yes.
We got audio now.
Hello.
I'm gonna try and finish this model today.
You're super close. So.
No,
I believe in you.
I believe in me too.
I believe in me too.
In me too. I'm just gotta get all the right colors and stuff.
Tim, what happened? The mixing console's input into the computer got jacked loose.
Dislodged.
It was not connected properly. There had been some messing around with other stuff, keyboard and mouse stuff today, and it just got knocked out inadvertently. No biggie.
Right. This silly old thing. Gotta get...
Too much triple X watching it work? Huh?
What? No. We don't do that. We don't do that at all.
That wasn't even a good movie.
No, it was not.
Not a big Vin Diesel fan.
I don't even mind Vin Diesel, but that wasn't.
That still wasn't a good movie.
Yeah.
I never can remember the one movie that I liked. It was him and might have been like a little Russian girl he was having to save. It was kind of sci-fi, apocalyptic weirdness. Anybody remember this movie?
Oh, this sounds very familiar.
He had to like save her. I feel like I don't know why. I don't remember why.
I mean, you're not talking about any of the Riddick movies, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't remember what it was called.
All right, chat. We need your help to find an answer to that because I'm very curious now.
Vin Diesel's best role is Groot. Yeah, it's like a French sci-fi novel, Chuck, something like that. The movie wasn't bad. Immediately? No, it doesn't have to be. It has to be by Monday.
Be there by Monday?
Yeah.
Second, so
Yeah, like 2 days.
price are you okay with that?
Couple $100.
5.
How much is it for Tuesday?
3 day, I think it was 2 day or 3 day, like 288.
Do that.
Cool. I wanted to.
Yeah, do that. Thanks.
I wasn't sure.
No, it wasn't Pitch Black. Babylon. Maybe it was Babylon AD. That sounds right. Yeah? Babylon AD, maybe?
I haven't seen that, so.
That seems right-ish.
Because he, like, vaguely does that in Pitch Black, sort of.
Nah, not really.
But not really, yeah.
Nah, Riddick's not trying to save anybody. Not on purpose. I think in Babylon AD he was, like, hired to do it or something, and people are hunting him down the whole time, trying to kill him. But it was definitely Earth. Doesn't he personally own the rights to the Riddick?
Yeah, it's his D&D
franchise?
character, I'm pretty sure. Like, Riddick was his D&D character. Or something to that effect. Thank you for the Twitch Prime, Shard.
His character is from the Witch Hunter movie. Oh, yeah. I remember that one, too. That one was ish. Okay-ish.
It is Vin Diesel. He is the okay-ish actor. Riddick movies are cool, though.
I can't remember much except for Pitch Black.
Pitch Black is definitely the best of them.
I'd be lying if I said I remember too much of the other ones.
The most recent one is just Pitch Black 2.0.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. It's real.
Samey?
Oh yeah.
Same creatures?
Very similar creatures in a lot of ways. It's
Did they crash land there? Is that why they had to do that?
In Pitch Black?
Yeah.
Yes.
And did we ever find out like why they crash landed? I don't remember.
There was like an asteroid storm or something like that caused, because everybody was in cryostasis.
Oh, of course they were.
Yeah, and then everything all got mucked up in the ship.
Of course
Yeah.
they were.
And then people started waking up as the thing was crashing down to the planet.
Gotcha.
And only 10 people survived or whatever, however many it is.
Yeah, and then it was a pick-off movie
Yes, very much so.
as they kept picking off the survivors.
Yep.
And as everybody started to learn who each other were.
Yep.
And that's where we get Riddick was being sought after.
You find that out pretty quick. It's mostly just everybody kind of being afraid of Riddick. And then Riddick
Everybody's
being
just
like,
afraid of the guy.
y'all got more problems than me to deal with here,
Yeah.
because he's like figured out that there's something weird going on with
He already had the eyes, right?
yeah Pitch Black is
Broken
great.
Chef says also, hi chat, first time able to interact. Hello!
Hello.
First streaming along while, can't wait for more learning by watching. I love it. Welcome, welcome. Tim, you wanted what toys? He was in a prison transport?
Yeah.
Oh, on the ship. He
Well-
was like in a prison compartment?
Yeah, he was a prisoner being transported on a transport
Yeah.
ship. By whatever the dude's name is, I can't remember off the top.
Source,
of my
what's
head.
going on? Who is the best meat actor currently? What does that mean? What's a meat actor?
I am not familiar with this term.
Are we talking about Jason Momoa? Street Shark toys were legit.
Like a hunk of meat?
like that's what I read it as, right? It's like who's the guy the actor that's only a hunk of meat, basically? That would be Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Muscle actors,
oh,
yeah, Jason
yeah.
Momoa,
Except he's not really.
an actor. Oh, sorry,
Well,
did that was
he's
my
not
was that a voice?
really. I mean, I feel like that's you're asking about like action movie people, and that's not really. I wouldn't say he's an action star.
Momoa?
Yeah.
Definitely is.
I mean, now that they've
Not
stuck
in
him
the
in, now that they've
traditional
stuck him
sense.
in like Fast 15 or whatever it is, he probably starts to be that way. But yeah, I would say because he wasn't really, right. I mean,
No.
well, I don't know. I've never seen any of like the
he's like-
blind.
He's
been
been
like
in like
Aquaman
drama.
and stuff like
well,
that. But
yeah, but he was in Game of Thrones. He wasn't. That's not an action.
Yeah.
He was in another. Like he was in a couple different series where they were like drama series, not action. He was in like a.
Well, like that Blind series is kind of actiony,
it's
survival.
it's drama.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's action and drama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's like, because it's not super duper high tech. I haven't watched
I
a
think
lot
of
it.
like Vin Diesel and
Yeah,
like.
it's not that kind of.
No.
It's not
Yeah.
Sylvester
Yeah.
Stallone. Everything
Sylvester
blows up.
Stallone.
That's
exactly.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Good-
guess,
good point.
I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not everything blows up kind of action.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been in that
Or
kind
like
of.
The Rock. He's not like The Rock.
Yeah, but The Rock's in all those comedies.
But The Rock also hasn't really.
Doesn't he do that
done
more than
a ton
anything
of
else?
them.
Well, I mean, I guess because I'm thinking of him as well when he was The Rock, it was like action movies, but now he's Dwayne Johnson.
Now he's Dwayne Johnson.
So it's he's appealing to a different crowd. Dustbun, they're there. It just takes time to get from the distributor to the stores.
Is this more Europe, Canada question?
Canada, yeah.
We must have patience.
Yeah, unfortunately, International doesn't get to deal direct with us to the stores. So there's an intermediary that it has to go through. But all of International, Canada, UK, EU, should have paint very soon. For the new signature sets, that is.
Yeah, because I would like who are some of the bigger like action stars of this day and age? It's like
those movies don't really happen that much, do they?
I mean, we're thinking like
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham, or like the Bond movies. So Daniel Craig, I would consider to be an action star.
Broken Chef said, speaking of the new colors, I was surprised by Petroleum Brown. It seemed more of a glaze, or did I not shake it enough?
No, it's very semi-translucent, semi-opaque on purpose.
Yep.
All of the paints in these new signature sets, with the exception of 2, are brand new finishes for us. So the Bone... Wait, is Bone? No, Bone is the satin one.
Bone is satin.
Brown gray
and metallic, and the dark bronze metallic.
Correct.
So brown gray is our standard matte finish. Bronze is our the dark bronze is our standard metallic. The others are all satin or gloss, and they're indicated with that on the bottle, so you'll know before you start to use it.
Yeah, and much like dark magenta in John's set, is it in John's or Vince's?
John's.
Vince's.
No, dark magenta is John.
Okay. The like dark magenta was a near transparent color as well. Royal purple, same. You'll find some of them that are like that throughout the line. And petroleum brown is meant more like an effect color. It's meant for oil staining. Jordan's got a video coming out that'll show you more about that.
Yep. The dark crimson is a very similar sort of effect.
Yeah, dark crimson, very much a blood effect.
Yeah.
But still very usable. You're just not going to base coat with them.
No.
Dustbun, the glaze and wash medium is not a new product, so you might find that. You might Google glaze and wash medium Canada or something. That's what I'm doing right now, and
Been out for a long time.
yeah, that's not a new one. So you might
Yeah,
find
how
that
long has it
one.
been out for? Been some serious time.
Well, the glazed wash medium came out before the mixed washes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that would have been July last year. Over a year ago. Oh, July, August of last year. I think washes were August. Medium came out just before.
I have to run back to my desk really quick.
What's the matter?
Well, I need to do something on Shopify, and it's not working on this computer. It's giving me just a completely blank screen, and I can't figure out why.
Yeah, it's not loading. Are you on the right Wi-Fi with that computer? Staff
yeah,
or
I think so.
regular?
I think I'm on staff. I am on Monument staff, yeah.
Yeah, that should be good.
I'm just mixing up some burgundy here with a little bit of dark burgundy for like the shadowed areas, and I'm highlighting it up with a little bit of advanced flesh tone and some pale yellow. No, warm flesh.
Going to experiment with petroleum brown as a wash for blonde hair.
Oh,
Could work very well. It is a very kind of nuanced brown, but be careful. You know, it's not meant to act as a transparent like the transparents do. So do a test area before you go into a full like blonde bust or something that you're looking to.
Desmond, what do you mean pay shipping twice? You could order direct from a store in Canada. And that's just one shipping.
yeah, there are definitely plenty of stores in Canada that carry our product. You should be able to, if not have a store nearby you, find one that'll be able to ship stuff to you.
Your paint crash test dummy. I love that terminology. I love that there's a
Paint
paint
crash
crash test dummy. That's perfect. Broken Chef. Yeah, all the new colors are great. We've been using the hell out of them.
Yeah, I don't think there's been a project that I've done since they came out, and even before that.
The
I
advanced
haven't.
flesh, the advanced flesh dark burgundy. I've used the dark sea Ben a ton on the armor for this little guy. Bone has become one of my go-tos.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic color.
Oh, I see what you're saying, Desmond. Okay.
Armored Core 6 in 30 minutes. We had a late meeting yesterday with the designer, developer of the first game we're publishing. And he was very funny. He was asking, so when do you really expect to have all the game assets from me? And at the time I was like, oh, I mean, honestly, I think if we get everything by, like end of September, we're good. And he's like, good, because Armored Core comes out tomorrow. And I've been waiting however many years, he said 6 years or something.
Oh, that's funny.
For that game. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is this for real? Kids these days.
He's not a kid.
Ben is definitely not a kid.
We could say that about Jacob. Maybe even me.
Damn kids these days. But Armored Core looks pretty good. I watched one of the beta players do the first handful of missions and bosses that they made available, and it looked okay. I have never liked the Armored Core series, which I know makes me a heretic.
Does it?
I just
I've
haven't
never played
ever
it.
enjoyed them. I never thought that the movement was good. Combat always seemed really screwy. Armored Boar is out in 30 minutes. You can wait. This one looks like a much better version of it than the others, but I don't know. I didn't like it because it always seemed like the backgrounds were always really horrible.
Yeah.
Like the cities were always just cubes
Oh no.
with windows.
Yeah.
It was kind of
unlived in cities.
yeah. It just seemed.
I do get that kind of vibe from the videos that I've seen of the game so far.
Broken Chef says, I'm captivated by the green on the Snake Lady. Is there a video someplace with this going on? All of our streams are archived now on YouTube. So if you go !YouTube in chat and you look back, you can find the ones where he's painting that. It's been the last like 3 weeks. Is that fair? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe last month, that he's been working on it off and on.
Mm-hmm.
More on than off.
Yeah.
So chances are pretty good that if you go look at the last like 3 weeks, and for the snake, more like the last 2 weeks, because you did her first, right? And the snake was still all primer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you actually look at a lot of the captions, like the pictures for the thumbnails, you'll see a lot of the stuff that we're working on. And if you look for one where she doesn't have a painted snake, and then you work from there, that's probably the best way to
that's a good
find
point.
out. Yeah.
Zoom into Baby J's eyes. You bet he has a haunted look. They're shaped like scales, his pupils. What's that?
Well, I said everything over here is all crazy today. I just looked up and like the camera was like this, cutting off my face.
Oh, it was
What the
pointing
heck?
downward a
Yeah.
little bit. I think that there was a lot of stuff bumped into today for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because I've turned on the stream how many times now? I've never had an issue with audio, so I didn't even think about it.
You're hyped for Starfield to come out? Skyrim-esque open world sci-fi game seems like your jam. I hope it's not like Skyrim, because the combat in Skyrim and all of the Elder Scrolls stuff was horrible. Just horrible games for that. Neat story, neat adventures. Combat was awful.
Never been my cup of tea.
Yeah, awful. Same with the Fallout games. Combat was always awful.
Yeah, I never liked Fallout or
Awful.
the Skyrim. What are they called?
Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls games.
Oblivion.
Yeah, and I mean to some extent the Fallout, like the way that you play Fallout is very similar in a lot of ways to how you play the Skyrim game.
Yeah.
And all the rest of them. Elder
Fallout I enjoyed a lot more. The story always kept me captivated, especially like Fallout New Vegas. That was really fun to play through. None of the Elden Ring games did I ever make it through. I never made it through a whole one.
Hello.
Elder Scrolls.
Not Elden Ring. Elder Scrolls.
Yeah. I got confused for a second.
Skyrim and all that. I just never I never was able to. I played them. I enjoyed some of them. There'd be some neat scenarios. You get caught and thrown in jail, and you got to break out of jail and all that stuff. And it was okay, but there's a limit to how much I can stand an open world with no direction.
Yep.
So Skyrim just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, it's kind of the problem I'm having with like Breath of the Wild and
Matt Monkey is here. What's going on, Pop?
let him have it.
You're doing great.
Skyrim's been the only game you've been able to get into in decades, Tim. We learn more about you every day.
True.
I know a lot of people love it. Friends of mine loved Oblivion before Skyrim, and it was just great. It just doesn't tick it doesn't tick the right boxes for me to continue playing it, and it's a huge game, and it wants you to invest a lot of time in it. I just can't do it.
The snake is called The Sacrifice. It's from Mindwork Studios, Mindwork Games, and it's available on monumenthobbies.com.
It's a pretty snake lady.
Matt says he just popped in to say hi.
Hi.
But
Matt popped in to say hi.
Matt
Pop
Monkey.
goes the monkey.
Oh,
Pop goes the monkey. Purveyors of fine resin accoutrement
true.
for your sci-fi games
They
that
made
you might
really
enjoy.
cool monument logos that Jason used on
Hmm.
was it on Space Marines?
The Monumental Space Marines. Yep.
Yeah, Jordan's kind of an okay painter.
I'm all right.
Do you have any example of the
before.
dark warm flesh and warm flesh on a model, or should you try to dig through the archives Death Spawn? I mean, we use those colors all the time. Dark warm flesh and warm flesh I use as adders, like mixers, all the time. So there's tons of both, along with khaki and the yellow greens on the kimono for the Shinobi model that I did. Right? And the highlights and such. Also on her skin for the highlights is dark warm flesh to give it kind of that sunny warmth to it, but not over the top. It's not too yellow. It doesn't look jaundiced. The thing with those colors is they stay in kind of a peachy realm, right? As opposed to going to full yellow or full pink.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they work really, really well for giving just a nice touch of warmth to skin where you don't want to have it look like there's a fire nearby and it's not overly warm. So they work great. But also remember that just because they have the word flesh in the title doesn't mean that that's all you're limited to. I use them for all sorts of stuff where I want to brighten up a color, tint it a bit, but leave it with some warmth. They fall into that same kind of genre as khaki, olive flesh, ivory, right?
100%.
You played Skyrim once and died, gave it a second chance and played for 8 hours straight. Tim says, I'm not very good at video games, so I avoid most of them. I'm not good at them either, but I play the hardest ones.
Noida.
That's my thing.
I heard you died a bunch in Noida the other day. Or that you died in Noida the other day. I don't know
Night
what
before
died was.
last, when I said that I was going to beat it. Wasn't that the night that I said I was going to beat Noida? Was that, what's
was
last night? Last night was Wednesday.
It was
Tuesday.
not last night.
It was Tuesday.
Was it Tuesday?
Tuesday night.
Tuesday. It was
Tuesday during the
Yeah.
stream, I said I'm going to go home and beat Noida tonight. That's my goal. No matter how long it takes, I think I said. I lied. Let's just get that out of the way. I'll go ahead and type in chat real quick. Oh, I can't because my keyboard didn't work. But it has a little thing in front of my name that says liar. I'm living up to it. I did not beat Noida, but I only died 3 times before I started a really good run. So then by the end of the night, I got to... Where did I get? I got to the end of the Hisi base, I think. End of Hisi base? Or maybe not. I don't remember which comes first. I think it's snow biome and then Hisi base. So I made it through the mines, the coal caverns, the snow biome, and I think Hisi base on Tuesday, and had a really good run going.
That's pretty good.
Right? And I got a pretty good stack of health going. I'm still on this run. I didn't get to play much last night, but I'm still alive. Then last night I went back to Hisi base, pissed off the gods. Or no, the worm had dug into the holy mountain, so I was able to exit the holy mountain for free, basically. Exit the holy mountain, went back to Hisi base and finished it out because I had gotten scared the night before. So I did the other half of Hisi base last night in a short period of time because we were out late with Ben last night. Finished out Hisi base. Then did the whatever it's called. I call it the jungle, but that's not what it's called. After Hisi base is some jungle biome thing. I did that. And that might be where I've left it. Now I have to go into the vault.
Into the vault.
Into the vault. And then after the vault is the laboratory or whatever it is where all the mages are. So I got 2 more excruciatingly hard biomes to get through. And then I'll kill the boss. So maybe tonight? Oh, I have to do the long war thing tonight. So I don't know how much time I'll have tonight. I'll see. I'll keep you posted.
The what thing? The long war?
The long war is, I'm on the long war podcast tonight.
Oh, right.
Slayer Street is called Noita. 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 And you will learn very quickly if you download it
I did.
that you get noited
Oh, I certainly did.
as a verb very often.
I got beat up, to put it mildly. Those silly shotgun monsters.
Shadow flesh to burgundy is great. The flesh tones, tan flesh, shadow flesh, even the new advanced flesh tone added into your reds will give you really nice desaturated highlights. For cloth especially. Love sack for the dog yet? Dude, the dog got a treadmill. Don't nobody have a love sack yet.
For the dog was never a thing. Let's not give her any ideas.
I have to be honest. So Jen doesn't cuddle with me ever. I'm going to out her live on stream. We sit on the couch. She sits at, we have a 19-foot couch, and she sits at one end, and I sit at the other end with the dog, right? And then at about, what would you say, like 8 o'clock, the dog moves to you and curls up next to you.
Yep.
But we're always at the opposite arms of the couch. When I started looking at the love sacks and stuff, they have like a, it's almost like a love seat version of it. So now I'm torn because I'm like, I should get one in there, you know, where if someday Jen wanted to come sit with me, she could. Because they start pretty small. They're like 3 foot by 3 foot. Like, that's not enough for even the dog to really get comfortable. Like, the dog's going to be on me.
The dog is already on.
I didn't grow up with a lot of cuddles or terms of endearment, so he's Jason, and we sit on opposite sides of the couch.
She looks at me weird when I get close. And then the dog separates us.
Yeah, the dog
instantly.
doesn't like it anyway.
The dog doesn't like it.
She doesn't.
She doesn't. Like, literally,
She does
if I
not
scoot
like
over
it.
and sit next to Jen, she gets right in between and
Yep.
gets, like, hostile.
Yep.
Oh
Not
my
hostile,
gosh.
but
No.
she pushes us apart.
She's very pushy.
She's like, I belong in the middle of this sandwich.
Yes, exactly.
No
She's all
Hunans
about
here.
being the core sandwich.
Tim, you like the God of Wars back in the early PlayStation days when they were, like, just action games.
Oh yeah, they're super good.
They were
I
good.
mean, new one's really good too.
Very good.
You
You know,
own it, right?
the early God of Wars are what gave way to things like Noida, where really it's all about finding new upgrades for your weapons, you know, that kind of...
Yeah, that like not
Roguelike.
full RPG type thing,
Yeah.
but like handheld RPG sort of situation.
yeah. Yes, they're good.
Although I would almost argue that like Zelda originally started that. Because the Zelda's very much the same way. Like you're going to find the particular like item or the weapon that you get in the dungeon, and then that lets you do other things that unlock other parts of the dungeon.
Yeah.
So
I love how Matt calls it a chaperone dog. She very much is. She's like your
Yeah.
mom takes you to the movies and makes sure that you don't put your arm around your date.
Exactly.
They'll get
And
fresh
she's-
up there.
For sure, the stereotype of, well, those of us who have, like, the bully breed dogs know that the stereotypes of them being mean are completely false, but the ones of them being very lovable and clingy, that's true.
Yeah, let's see some daylight there. You guys are too close.
Yeah,
You need to be able to
exactly.
see light in between you the whole time.
You leave some room for the Holy Spirit.
Leave some room for
oh
the
my
Holy Spirit.
god.
I've never heard that, and that
I've
is
never
haven't?
heard that in my
That is
life.
tremendous.
And it's
No, I've never- I don't
amazing.
think I've ever
Catholic
heard that.
schools.
That's
Let's leave some room
Catholic
for the.
school
Make sure to
dances.
leave some.
leave some room for the Holy Ghost.
Ghosty says, "Amen, Jen. Stay pure, chat."
Right.
Oh my gosh.
We need to leave some room for the Holy Spirit. That's definitely Cora, because Cora prays at her food.
She does. She prays before she eats.
She prays
She
to
says
dog
a very loud
every time.
prayer.
She really does.
of
She jumps up on her
Thanksgiving.
hind legs. The other night she did it, and she wavered on her hind legs for a long time as she was woofing at her food, and then she finally digs in.
She is pretty crazy.
One
with
Bible width apart, says Hipster Gumby.
that. Yeah.
Gabe knows.
Leave some room for the Holy Ghost.
Goes who building up a Cerastus Knight. How's that kit? One of the plastic ones, I assume?
I bet it's awesome.
A lot of pieces.
Oh yeah. But I remember when I built my my Adeptus Titanicus stuff that the kits were really great to put together.
Titanicus was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're really good.
I still want to play more of that game.
Violently clingy, a little bit, sometimes. She does body slam a little bit too much.
Oh my god, that dog
She
kills
can be
me.
very aggressive with her love.
She hurts me. I have a permanent bruise on my right pec, right below my armpit, because she
'Cause
slams
she-
into me
yeah.
with her shoulder. So sometimes I'll wake
Right
up in
here?
the morning and it's like right
Just
here,
like,
and it
bam.
literally feels like you're being stabbed with a dagger when you press there. And there'll be like a knot,
Yeah.
you know? And then when I'm away for a few days, fine.
It goes
Totally
away.
fine. And then you come home and she hits you there again, and it's, you ever been hit on an almost healed bruise? It's that.
Yeah.
That's the
Yep.
tough love I get when I go home.
She got a big solid head.
She got a big
Oh my
solid
God,
head.
does she? She's just a muscle
Yeah.
with a mouth and a butthole.
Yep.
I can't handle it. Oh my
Loves, eats, and poops. That's all she does.
gosh. Loves, eats, and poops.
And sleeps.
Oh yeah,
She sleeps a lot.
lots of sleeping.
Doesn't bark much, thankfully,
Only her food.
except at her food. And once in a while, if she can hear a neighbor dog and they're getting mouthy with her, she'll like give them one little bark.
Yeah, she didn't go nuts though. She's like,
No,
whew.
definitely.
We thought for the longest time she was like unable to speak.
Mute, yeah. Because she didn't make a sound for the first probably 3 or 4 months
Oh,
that we had
really?
her.
Not at all.
Not a peep.
Not a peep.
Then she got comfortable with
Now
us.
she's comfortable.
I bet you that because she was a rescue, right?
Yeah,
I bet you the people who had her last were not a big fan of
yeah. Of noise.
dog communication.
Yeah.
Dog
In a
communication.
verbal sense.
Yeah, yeah. Probably right. But she's great. She has a good voice. She's not overly loud, but it is annoying when she's barking at her food and doesn't shut up.
Yeah,
It's like we get it, right?
yeah.
You recited the holy text 3 or 4 times now. You can dig in, dog.
What tomato? Jen is secretly beating you with a soap and a sock when you sleep.
There's no secret about it. There's just like, you get to the point where you're like, you just take your comeuppance.
Yeah.
He's like, we can do this one of 2 ways.
You can scream about it, or you can just take it.
You can know it's coming, or it can be a surprise. Like when my dad used to get the belt out. It hurts worse if you put your hands back there. And he was right, damn it. Which always sucked.
I mean, it sucks when your parents are right in it.
It also sucks when you're a dumb kid and get whooped. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
Take your
Also,
lashes and
yes.
repent, sinner. Interesting way of being woken up. Bam! Sock with soap.
That would suck.
She doesn't do the soap. She does grapefruit, so it doesn't leave bruises. She's a smart one. She's watched too many episodes of Dateline to put soap in a sock anymore.
I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, Jen. So, to all of those of you who out there are looking at this being like, what the heck is he doing? I'm building up some pre-highlighting before I put a glaze of burgundy over this. Because I wanted a bright, more vibrant, saturated color. And I didn't want to mix another lighter color into it to desaturate it, so I'm going to thin it out. I'm going to add some glaze and wash medium to it, and we're going to basically do what we did to the cloak on Obi-Wan, and we're going to do it on this.
Joseph says, I thought you were going to use some transparent red there, Baby J.
Nope. We're gonna make our own transparent by using the burgundy and glaze and wash medium.
I love how I was doing the blink twice for help thing very adamantly, and nobody in chat is helping me.
Well, I can't really see your eyes. Blink twice for help.
Chat doesn't care.
Slayer Street found an FLGS that carries Pro Acryl. 100% gonna snag a set as soon as they open on Saturday.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Baby J chose Scale Jail. I did, in fact, choose Scale Jail. I chose it. Alright. I own it. I was bad. I was put in Scale Jail. I
What'd
misbehaved.
you do, Baby J?
I don't know.
You forgot to bring popcorn. Ooh, popcorn. We have popcorn at home. I forgot how good the herb seasoned popcorn from Trader Joe is.
Yeah.
I used to love that stuff. You used to get it like 5 or 6 bags at a time, but it was at the same time that Jen was getting the pickle popcorn. And they haven't had pickle popcorn in a while, or we haven't just been to Trader Joe's in a while.
We haven't been to Trader Joe's in a long time, but they had pickled potato chips this time when we were there.
Did you get
some?
some?
Like love pickles?
Huh?
Don't you like love pickles? Isn't that like a thing?
I like pickles a lot. One of my very best friends from college loves pickles. Like, is obsessed with pickles.
Is a pickle person?
And ketchup. And she doesn't like much else. Like, she's a very picky eater.
That does not
except for
surprise
the
pickles.
pickles and the ketchup.
I bet she puts ketchup on her chicken.
That's okay to do.
She probably
Only
does.
if it's fried though.
Yes, and
It's
we
the
make
right
fun,
thing to
and
do.
we make fun of her.
It's the right
For
thing to
her
do, not make fun of her.
limited
It's the right
palate.
thing to do to put ketchup on your nuggets.
You can take Baby J out of the streets, but you'll never take the streets out of Baby J. If you knew me, you would know that that is so far incorrect.
No way. You can just look at Baby J and know he comes from the streets.
Juan Tomato said that he saw you blinking, but also saw the messages I was blinking, and I'm scarier.
She was reading her freaking TikTok. She wasn't even looking. I looked over at you before I sent the message to them because I didn't want to get hit later.
Oh my gosh.
Wait a minute, I shouldn't tell her that, should I? Chicken nuggets and hot sauce? What kind of hot sauce are we talking? Define hot sauce. I feel like hot sauce is like Tabasco and Cholula is hot sauce.
Ketchup.
A sauce that adds heat.
Sriracha. I would consider sriracha hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah. Like spicy ketchup, basically.
If it was spiced with like the feet of people with no shoes.
What? You lost me there.
Tastes like the bottoms of people's feet.
You don't like sriracha?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Avian. Trader Joe's. They used to. It was a summertime, like seasonal product, and it was a bag of popcorn called popcorn and a pickle or something like that, and it was pickle. It had like pickle flavored seasoning on it. It was really good. Very much tasted like dill pickles, and was a very addictive snack. Now they have that same version, but it's on potato chips, and they make a pickle mustard. Well, they did last year. I don't know if they have it again this year, but pickle mustard. They don't. I don't think they're doing the pickle popcorn. The pickle potato chips now.
So it are like, is it like a really briny flavor?
Yeah, it's very dill pickle. It literally tastes like dill pickle, but it's popcorn. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it.
No, not your jam. You don't like dill pickles?
Don't like dill pickles.
Oh, well,
I like
okay.
sweet relish, but I don't like dill pickles.
They're dill.
Yeah.
Very, very tart, sour dill.
Well, the funny thing is, I
Tangy.
like sour tart things.
Mm-hmm. Just not dill
Just-
pickles. If
there's
you don't like dill pickles,
something-
don't eat this popcorn.
There is just
'Cause you won't
something
like it.
about dill pickles.
Yeah,
If you don't like dill pickles, don't eat what?
the popcorn.
The popcorn.
Oh, the dill pickles.
Oh, did you see these?
Or the
It's
chips.
very pickly.
Or the potato
Yeah,
chips,
those are
because they're also very
Well.
pickly. Then they have a picnic. They call it picnic. What are you doing? Oh, turn in
Airbrush.
the compressor. The picnic mix or something, and it's a variety pack of chips, and this one's really good. I did get this one. They have barbecue, dill pickle, salt and vinegar, which kind of tastes the same, and ketchup. So that's a really good mix. That's what they have right now at Trader Joe's.
Or you get to be like those Canadians and you get the all dressed chips.
Slowfoots. I'm not a foot connoisseur. I don't have a problem with feet, but I also don't have like any sort of fetish for feet. I just know sriracha tastes like I assume people that wear sandals with no socks all the time's feet taste.
It probably tastes better than people wear socks all the time.
That may be true, but
not that I would know.
Paradu says just because I suck on some toes doesn't mean I have a foot fetish.
Well,
So about that, it is Therapy Thursday. We are kind of morally and legally forced to tell you that yes, indeed, it does.
what you think that means is not what you think that
Yes.
means.
Actually, exactly what that means.
You do you. Enjoy those toes.
Enjoy those toes.
I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to like not suck on toes, but you do you.
Avon, you're saying what to what? To me and my hot take on sriracha? Sriracha is one of those things that the only reason it gathered any steam was because of the hipster mentality. There's a lot of people out there that want to say they like the stuff everybody else hates. Like Pabst Blue Ribbon. You'll find that if you look at the numbers, I can pretty much guarantee that the bulk of sriracha is sold to people that drink Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Oh my gosh.
Have you eaten sushi twice? Oh, you have a fish fetish.
I
I
like
ate
fish.
sushi last night.
Sushi last night?
We had sushi last night. You missed out, dude.
Yeah.
You played cards.
I didn't even
You
really
played
play
Digimans.
cards. I just went to we were out to dinner when you messaged.
Oh, you didn't even make it to the shop?
I mean, I went to the shop afterwards because you were like,
Jacob's really into just judging now.
well, I don't know. Jacob did weird stuff last night.
He what?
Jacob did weird stuff last night. He was playing a weird deck.
Oh, but you guys got there in time to play?
I did not play. Paul and I just played Lorcana.
Oh, okay.
I've been like so busy like being out and about and doing events and stuff. I wanted to like take it easy because I feel like I haven't been home in the evening in like a week, and I need to like cool it.
Cool it now.
I need to cool it and just like spend some time at home.
You got to cool it now.
My social batteries were running a little low. Although,
Is it the batteries that allow you to be social? Is that what you mean by social batteries? Or because I always consider it to be my social batteries are over full.
yeah, I think that's it, right? Like I am very social as a person naturally. But if I do it for a super long period of time, I need to take a minute and just like cool my jets.
Yeah, like after Gen Con, I was ready to not see people for about a week. Would have been nice.
Yeah. Because it was like, I played in a bunch of Lorcana events this last weekend. And then, like, Monday I did stuff. Tuesday I did stuff. Tuesday I went out to, like, go to a party. And then Wednesday was last night. Yeah, so I was just like, I need to not be... So I didn't play Digimon and Sims.
That's the party we let him go to with paint on his elbow, by the way.
Yes, thank you for that. But I do regret not being able to be here for that, or not being here for that, I should say. Because, yeah, I wanted to be involved in that.
I think that's too opaque.
Yeah, we were literally like walking out, and we were like, "Gabe, you're coming tonight, right?" He was like, "Nope, I'm staying." And we were just like, "What?" Because he was talking about going to Digimon this weekend.
There's no sleeping on the job.
I'm not sleeping. I'm just expelling my tiredness into the air so it dissipates.
You know, I did a very crap job of this. I didn't thin it enough. I should have thinned this in a cup. I'm mixing up a highlight, and I just immediately put the paint in the brush, and I was like, oh, that's probably not what I wanted to do. I don't like mixing for opacity in the airbrush cup, because you typically mix more than you need. And so now I've done exactly that. I've just got this overfilled airbrush cup that's hoping to get to the right opacity so I can use it as a highlight.
Yeah, that feeling when you have to like pour half of it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pour like half of it out. And it's like,
This Gray Sphere said, I've weirdly fallen in love with your olive flesh, and thus I have finally run out of my 17 ml bottle and need to buy more.
olive flesh is awesome.
That's an old bottle.
Yeah, I was about to say, they ran out of their 17 millimeter bottle. Means they've had it for a minute.
Oh, the old ones.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
All right.
Yeah, because we never did. I think Expansion Set 2 released the new bottles, right?
No,
Yeah, with the transparency. The transparents
transparents
were
were
never,
in the, they
17
were,
mils?
yeah. And
So
that-
Expansion
it was,
said
it was
3.
3, yeah.
Okay.
Because I remember we only had like 5 or 6 colors.
Yeah, because I only got like the first 3 expansions when I got stuff from you before. Maybe it was 4? No, I think it was 3. Or 2?
But all your stuff was in the large bottles.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm trying to figure it out. Because I remember when we were talking about it, I was like, I'm missing like a good chunk of the range because you're like, well, we have all these other things now. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I didn't like you enough to send you that much stuff at the time. I was a little leery. I wanted to believe, but I needed more info. So
How do you feel now?
I
that
gave
you have more
enough-
info.
Can I have my paint back?
Hooper Triplet said those serpent scales are bonkers.
Right? He is absolutely killing that freaking model.
Well, I've been in jail long enough working on them.
Scale jail.
Been in
That's
scale
what it'll
jail.
do.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you put yourself in scale jail long enough, and anything can happen. But thank you. It was very kind of you to say. I'm very happy with how they turned out.
All right. Do it again.
Let's try this again.
Let's do this the right way. Up. Paint. Snap. Snap.
You're just trying to do some soft.
Just doing highlights.
Yeah.
But it means I need 2 drops of paint, 50 million drops of glazed wash medium,
And some amount of drops of water.
like 8 times the amount of wash medium, and then double that up with water. There you go. Now we got it. Now I can also use the right side of the brush to mix as opposed to the bristles.
Yeah.
Just realized that you were saying about the streets, and now it all makes sense why you're so quick to throw people under the bus.
Yeah, I live out here. I'm living my life to the fullest. And no one's gonna get me down.
This is Baby J from the block.
Baby J from the block.
$325 for a PBR.
Ain't nobody paying $3 for PBR.
Oh my god, I've been places where it's like $6. You go to Vegas, it's like $6.
I was gonna say, where are you going where you can get it less than that?
Yeah, exactly.
The places where I don't buy it.
I mean, yeah.
As in, you
you're
can't
going
get
to
it
the-
cheaper than that, and you shouldn't get a cheaper beer. I don't like beer in the first place, so
Perfect.
I think it tastes terrible.
Oh my gosh, we're being raided.
We're
Bye.
being
Someone
raided.
named Malev Flo Shinobi.
I don't know him.
Never heard
Who's
of that
this guy?
Never
this
heard
person?
of him. There's a shake in my chute, he said.
There's a shake in your shoot. A shoot in your shake.
I think you should double check your shoot.
I think you need a doctor.
Kinda wet in my pants.
The paint goes in the cup. Welcome, Malev and the
Hello.
Malevolites. The
Hello,
Malevolents.
Hello, Malev and Raiders.
I want to call them the Malevolants.
Maleva who?
The Malevolants.
Malevolence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except he like doesn't have anything in his shtick about bugs. But that he should.
About what?
About bugs.
Bugs?
The Malevolants.
Oh, malevolence.
Because malevolent.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Malevolent. Malevolence.
Percival Chevalier, fifth, first of his name. About to get some highlights. Let's do this. Gotta get in
Oh, it was
close.
supposed to be. There's a snake in my boot. We came to there's a shake
Yes.
in my chute.
There is in
Oh
fact
no,
a shake
he
in
did
the
that.
shoot.
I think.
Yeah.
Never mind. He said I auto replaced with "There's a snake in my boot" from Toy Story. There's a shake in my chute.
There is in fact a snake in your boot though. So you
The
must be
legions
careful.
of malevolence.
How's it going? Hope your
Jamie
stream was
Daggers, hello. Usually I have to pay extra to get a shake in my chute.
$20 is $20.
good.
We are having much better luck with the new house. Thank you for asking. Games played poorly. No hidden graveyards. No noisy spooks at 3 a.m. No rodents.
You guys
No.
kicked all the ghosts out?
we have
No.
ghosts?
Oh.
No plumbing issues. All is well. Malev said, I heard you had like an oil wash miracle or something.
Yep.
Ha! You missed out.
We do.
It's pretty cool. It's also not oil wash.
Oh, this is thanks to Wadtomaton and Lumberjack Tim. They were telling Malev
Oh, Tim
about
said he was at
about it.
Malev's and was talking about the thing, and I was like, how does Malev know about that? I don't think he's seen it.
Yeah. That's an owl. Are you talking about what Jason's painting and what Jordan's painting? Because that is Percival Chevalier the Fifth, first of his name, kicker of shins,
Biter of
world.
ankles.
What did you call him?
Destroyer of worlds.
World destroyer or something like that. Destroyer of world.
Destroyer of worlds.
There you go.
Some sweet washing magnificence.
Said I was like, I ain't heard of no oil medium.
We got these guys done.
Oh, the chick meaning the woman. I see. That's why I didn't get it, because I didn't realize that people still
We
called women
washed up
chicks.
this guy too. Make them all nice and beat up and gross. Now he looks all appropriately dark and dreary.
Percival is in Jason's hand, getting an airbrush sprayed at his
This
head.
stuff is great.
Just doing some highlight blending with the airbrush. Getting him tight. Tight.
Wait,
Very tight.
Source, you're not native English, then this can be an English, a little mini lesson in English.
Boy, we're not
John's
the
a
people that teach
professional.
anybody English around
Wait,
here.
wait.
Is that we
Hold- what? Jen?
we don't like to call women chicks.
They like to be called toots.
No, don't
Oh
listen
my
to Jason.
gosh.
Hey, honey. Toots. Baby doll. Sizzle chest.
I feel like that's a great way to get like stabbed.
Sizzle chest is acceptable.
Sizzle
chest.
chest.
Is acceptable. If you're brave enough to say sizzle chest to a woman in public, you should be able to get away with it. I feel like that's just one where they're like, oh,
So,
damn it.
well, that's a good test though to know what kind of person you're dealing with. If she gets it, then you marry her.
Dames is
Then
the correct
you
term.
don't pass go. You do not collect $200. You click the marry button and you never go back.
Exactly.
Gosu says sizzle
'Cause if
chest.
she
What
gets
is happening?
sizzle
So
chest-
you obviously don't know, Gosu.
Yeah. If you don't know, if Sizzle Chest doesn't trigger something in your memory, then you probably shouldn't try it.
Oh, I'll be there Monday. I'll bring you my tools and I'll be there Monday. All right, there, sizzle chest.
I don't get the reference.
That's okay.
But that's also because I'm like terrible when it comes to have watched.
Oh, I thought you were
So-
going to say it's because you were too young,
No.
which is probably accurate.
Probably accurate. Malev, we took these guys. Bam! I painted up these two guys just like this. Just a blast of green and bright yellow green through the airbrush over black primer, real basic. And then we did the brown. I took some warm brown and black transparent and mixed it in with our not an oil wash and slathered it over the entire model. You can look at Tuesday's stream, I think, correct? Tuesday? Yeah, it would have been
Yes.
Tuesday.
Yes.
Would have been Tuesday's stream. You can go back and look at Tuesday's stream about maybe 30 minutes in or something like that. I spent the beginning of the show priming them. So I primed them at the beginning of the show, painted them up to get the green on there, and then put warm brown and transparent black mixed with the not an oil wash medium. And then I covered the entire model at once with the medium to where it was all just this oily brown gunk. And then we took makeup sponges, right? I used these makeup sponges, and then we just took the we took the medium off with the makeup sponge, and just like you would an oil wash, subtractive weathering is what it's called, right? Subtractive filtering. You put a filter over the entire thing, then you clean the filter off of the high spots where you don't want to see that paint. It has a very light effect on the raised areas, but then sits down in the recesses to give you a really nice blended, grimy dirt and oil kind of a feel. So you can see how it did. It did all the panel lining. It happened in a matter of minutes. And then I was able to dry brush right over the top of that without messing up any of the not an oil wash, which you would never do over an oil wash. If you put an oil wash on a vehicle or something like that, you typically would have to varnish a bunch, let it sit for a couple of days before going back and dry brushing. We dry brushed over it immediately, and we're able to dry brush the heavy warm white over the top and get a really good armor for this mech in a matter of minutes.
It did, and it literally looked like he was just brushing chocolate all over it.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly, Wad.
It was delightful.
Law Dog says around 1:30 in. So it's the idea that I had months ago that started us down this path was that everybody's painting in this grimdark style, and we always want to try to find ways that get cool effects quickly, but we don't want to sacrifice quality. As painters, we don't, and as a company, we don't. And so we said, okay, well, how can we do that reliably? Because we don't want to come out with an oil set of paints. Number one, it's very hard on equipment to make. You have to use lots of solvents to clean the equipment if you're bottling it. So even though we could make an oil wash, why? Because we do all of that here. And so we don't want to have to service all our equipment with those solvents. So I was like, well, can you do it with acrylics? And of course the answer in short form is no, because you're asking a lot of an acrylic to have that long of an open time. But we were able to pull it off. It has an open time ranging anywhere in the, depending on how much you thin it down, anywhere in the 5 to 10, 12, 15 minute at the outside open time. So you can work with it for quite a while. You'd be able to do a tank with it. And, the material itself stays usable for a long time. So if you mix a batch, you could do a squad and do a guy and then strip him and then do the next guy and strip him and the next guy and strip him and so on and so forth. So it is... I've been saying it's about 90% of what you would want out of an oil wash. The only thing it's not going to do is stay open for a day. You're not going to come back to it tomorrow and be able to fix it. If you had if you left it and there was a spot, you'd have to touch that spot up. But for the quick and ease of being able to deliver a subtractive weathering wash, and the nice thing is because it's acrylic, and then after that, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes down the road, it's dry. and you can rub on it, right? And you can dry brush over it, and you can apply another wash over it, and you can put decals on top of it, and you can do everything you want to do as if it were just a normal step in your painting. So you don't have to think outside of your normal process. It's just an acrylic paint. It just does what you want it to do. It gives you really quick recess weathering and blends really nice, right? And you can paint over the top of it, do everything you want to do. There's nothing that's going to reactivate this paint. So if you do a black wash over the top of this, or a glaze into the highlights, you can do that, and you won't reactivate that oil and move it off the model. Because in most cases you'll have to spend the time putting a heavy varnish on the model after the oil wash, and then be able to paint over the top of that. So
Source does, Jordan still wants to know, are the woman and the snake friendly, or are they trying to kill each other?
They're friends. Presumably.
the snake is sacrificing itself for the woman,
Yes.
is the idea.
Yep.
Lumberjack Tim says, I used to have those tapes.
Yes.
The Jerky Boys.
I don't think anybody else got it.
The Jerky Boys back in the day were amazing. But they used to, it was like trunk tapes. Like
Yeah,
the original
they were,
Jerky
like cassette
Boys,
tapes.
when we were in New York, were literally things you would buy from those guys at shows out of the trunk of their car.
Yeah.
You would get a cassette tape. It was like DJ mixtapes. And that's the way you buy them. And so you'd have them, and we would just sit around absolutely laughing hysterically at these calls that they would do. The one where it was like they called the prosthetics company, and he was like, I need a pair of eyes. Like, sir, we don't sell pairs.
They're so good. They're on Spotify. You can listen to the Jerky Boys on Spotify. You don't need to, hunt down a tape anymore.
Well, they did like something called
Magic
Crank Yankers at one point.
Crank
that was like
Yankers
the
wasn't
puppet
nearly
ones.
as good, but yeah, it was Jimmy Kimmel.
Oh, was it?
Did Crank Yaker.
They took that idea
Yankers.
and just ran with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they made videos and they used like the Muppets.
It was like Muppets.
to be
yeah.
the call. So there were some fun ones, but obviously, it was on just Comedy Central. So yeah, Saul Rosenberg.
Saul Rosenberg. Well, I'll be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna come to work at your place tomorrow. I'm gonna show up.
I heard you're
I'm
hiring. I'll be there
experienced.
Monday. Well, that's not how it works, sir. You have to come for an interview. Oh, I'll interview.
I'll
all
tell
right.
you, I'm gonna interview you.
Yeah, I'm gonna interview you. Basically, the idea here is that you just are thinning your paint down to a point to where you can get in super tight, and it just fuzzes your textures and your lines to give it a much better shine. In this case, doing it for metal, but Jordan showed you doing it for skin on the Sacrifice. I did it on Dante's armor. It's a great way to be able to utilize the airbrush later in the game. That is also allowing you to paint quicker because you don't have to worry so much about your brush strokes in your midtones and such, because this will even a lot of that out. It won't make it perfect, right? Because by the time you've covered up brush strokes entirely, you're now starting to make the model look like it was airbrushed. And that's not the goal, right? We still want him to look like he's hand painted. But we did the same thing with the purple transparent. We put purple transparent into the shadows with the airbrush very, very thin, and that gives a really nice look. It looks like he's standing in a room with with a fluorescent light almost, right? So you can utilize the airbrush not just for base coats and placing colors for the first time on the model. You can come back and use it to refine those colors that you've done with the brush.
Source said, super nerdy question here. Anyone familiar with the CIEDE 2000? I don't know if that's supposed to be a word. Standard for color distance. When comparing two colors, how big a distance before you start considering it a different color? Rule of thumbish.
How big a distance before you start considering it a different color? What are you asking for? Right? Like when we're painting, are you talking about it in terms of mixing colors and painting?
I don't think
Because
so.
we work in miniature, and so we get a lot of people that are hung up on mixing colors because they think they can't get the same color twice. So are we discussing that? Because I never worry about it, right? My highly scientific method of color mixing doesn't worry about if I get a little bit more jade or less jade in a layer, because as it goes on the model, that's what winds up giving you depth, right?
Said that it's a standard for comparing colors, and when you compare, you get a number for how close they are. The app I have for looking for alternative paints is showing the numbers.
Well, that takes into account glossiness as well. Light reflectiveness is a component in that too. So most of those apps are looking at things like house paint. And so it's registering reflectiveness as part of that equation, because the more light a paint reflects, the lighter it will look. And so it will cause a hue shift.
Jordan, did you zoom in?
No, I just.
Oh, okay.
I am very zoomed in, and I was pulling it a little bit.
Yeah, because when you go to match a paint, it'll tell you how many steps it is away from like the base hue. I'm not familiar with this CIEDE 2000. That's probably just a
It
form
reminds
of
makes me
measuring
think of the Paint Liquor 9000.
and affirmation to use a scale that everybody can use. But you're asking, like, if you're looking at two colors and it says it's 5 steps away, is that close enough? I don't know the scale, so I can't tell you. Just go visually. Does it feel like it's close enough?
So the app is for mini painting. I can look up, say, Citadel's Dawnstone and then try to find a match from Pro Acryl.
I get that you're saying it's for mini painting, but CIEDE 2000 is not a miniature, is not a paint term I'm used to. That's something that I'm assuming is measuring just like they do in our color spectrometer. Has a application that can tie to it that will allow you to match like Behr to you name some other big house paint company, and they'll tell you the same relation to color. They'll tell you how many steps away that hue is, but it takes into account a lot of things like glossiness and such. So I don't know the scale. I don't worry about that stuff. I always look at it by eye. Is the color visually close enough for what I'm looking for to go with it? What do I have to add to it to get it to be spot on? Things like that.
So I just Googled that CIE whatever thing, and it said it provides an improved procedure for the computation of industrial color differences.
Yeah. Yeah, in places where you're trying to match, especially for like auto body or for manufacturing, where you're placing a color into, say, a resin or a plastic polymer for making lawn chairs or something like that, nylon, and you want all of the nylon to be the same color, then you're going to need to know more specifically. For us in painting, I find as long as you feel like the color is close enough to what you're looking for. You know, you paint half an army with one color and another half of the army with a different color that's very close, and at the 3-foot test, they're going to look the same.
This seems like a really complicated, complex
Like I
thing
told
for
you, all of
something
that
that's
stuff
like
takes into
miniature
account
painting.
reflectivity, not only
Like-
hue, but reflectivity, light fastness, all sorts
Like
of
it,
stuff.
just looking at the Google results makes my head spin.
It's like, read the wiki page.
It's
and
all
it's
like
none of these words
science
they're just
stuff.
making this stuff up.
Like it's Science Direct comparison of the CIE lab and CIEDE 2000.
They're speaking in a different language.
It's definitely a different language for me. International Color Consortium. The National Institute of Health has something about it. I guess how color differences are perceived by the human eye.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. I definitely don't want to put that much thought into my painting.
Yeah, for what we do, it is irrelevant. Highly irrelevant. Unless you're just, like you said, you want to know what is, going to get a color to where it's like, oh, yeah, this is the color I'm looking for. Citadel has a color. You want to know how to get as close a match to us as possible. There are programs out there that if you enter in 2 hex codes, it'll tell you what you need to add, but most of that is based around CMYK mixing. So, that's going to be a little bit hard for you to achieve.
Ghost who said, I've seen that before in the past. I don't know how the numbers correlate to the brands of paint, though. I just try to find something similar and mix and blend to find something I need. Source said, yeah, it's very complex. I'm not looking to understand it, just if people had a rule of thumb on distance.
No.
Yeah, I don't know that it's a
No.
commonly
It's not that simple.
understood thing like that.
I have
It
never
seems pretty
worried
complex.
about distance when mixing colors for miniatures,
Well,
for the most part.
he's talking about distance between the numbers they're giving. Like if it says it's X amount of steps off, what is a given go-to
yeah,
for the
I
amount
mean-
of steps that are going to make it relatively close visually?
Just use your eye.
So that your eye will recognize it as being the same color.
Yeah.
Not distance, like actual separation. I would have to research the scale to give you an idea.
Yeah, maybe don't do that, Lumberjack Tim. Tim said when people in Discord ask about colors now, I'm going to point them in the direction of that thing.
Don't. Don't you dare. You will scare everybody away from miniature painting.
Yep.
Wait, there's physics involved?
I
need
have,
a-
Yes, please
I don't
let's
have a
not
degree
do
in
that.
physics.
I need a $5,000 spectrometer? What?
What are you people doing?
Source said, problem with using my eye is I don't have the paints in front of me, so I have to go buy some pictures on a website. But I don't know I mean, they're all monitors are going to look different, though.
Yeah.
Damn it. You're trying to purchase something, right? So what color are you trying to match? Your easier thing would be say, hey, what do you have close to Citadel X? And we'll look. How about that?
Yeah.
Can we help you there? Or do you have like a list of 50 colors you're trying to do? I'll be very honest. I didn't look at one single, nor will I, look at one single Citadel paint when figuring out what our next colors are. So, we do not have, we may just have gotten lucky and have some that, are pretty close representations of what you're after, but that's not something we do.
Gosu said, I got great news. I've been struggling with terrible eyes for the past 3 years, keeping me from painting and such. Finally got a diagnosis, and it's curable.
Oh,
Awesome.
Fantastic.
That is very good news.
That's actually really good news.
That
right?
is awesome.
Are you going to get robot eyes like Tim?
Laser eyes.
Laser ball eyes.
I was gonna say there's these.
I picture Tim as Cyclops.
These things that they make that you can put on, like this, and they help you see better.
They have these things that you put over your face, make you see better.
There's a guy, our local news, like
Anchor.
our news channels, they post some random stuff on Instagram, and a week or so ago, they posted a mugshot of a guy who.
Oh
was,
my god.
You know what I'm talking about.
She sent this to me. It freaked me out. I was like, did that guy literally tattoo glasses
He
on his
tattooed glasses on his face. So it was he was arrested for murdering his girlfriend, and his picture was it was all like black tattoo, and he had glasses tattooed.
It was all prison stick and poke.
Glasses
for those of you that know.
tattooed on his face. And I think I deleted it. Because I didn't want to be scrolling through my pictures and see that. I'm pretty sure I deleted. Oh, it might be. It's still in my deleted photos though.
So you did keep it.
I never go back in and.
You never go back in and.
I never go back in and like empty
Delete for good.
Yeah, delete for good. No, it's not in deleted, so I must have saved it.
Jen was like, "This is gonna come up later. Must keep."
Anyway, I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to Jason and said that we'd had a good run, but I was gonna make. Oh, here he is. I was gonna make this guy my prison husband.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna do a prison marriage.
See how my life is.
Yeah. Oh, he's got glasses tattooed, and then he has 2 horns tattooed. His head's shaved. 2 horns tattooed, right, like devil horns, right here on his head. And then what looks like the Silence of the Lambs mask that they put on.
What a I got nothing. I got nothing.
I can hold it up to this maybe, but I don't know that you guys are gonna really see it. You can kind of see it a little. That's him. Pretty crazy.
I didn't understand.
Someone
the glasses
did. He
part.
murdered his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have really appreciated what he had. Clearly, he did not. Yeah, Paint Rack is a great app for comparing colors, for sure. Oh, Omicron Samurai, yeah, I don't know what time you were there. We were in meetings most of the day.
Today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you come by today?
Did miss you guys when I popped in today.
You're supposed to come in tomorrow.
Had a lot of weird schedule issues this week.
Well, you gotta
I thought it was last week.
Well, he was talking about coming in last week, and then earlier this week he said he was going to come in on Friday.
Yeah, and he put an order in and said he was surprised that it was ready so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Chicks dig face tattoos, Tim.
What?
So we're back to the word chicks again.
The correct terminology is women.
Women.
Rods.
Ladies. Crazy Ivan 42 said, got a technical question. What would the uses be for the black and white transparent paints? So many.
Yeah, Jen got it. It's virtually limitless.
Thank you, Tim. That's
so,
much better.
I mean, it's all the same regular uses of transparent paints that you would do. There's like color filtering where you're applying a color over another color to change its hue slightly. But the nice thing about all of our transparents is having the white and black lets you mix the colors together to get more desaturated color mixes, because most of our transparents are very super saturated mixes right out of the bottle because they're all single pigment paints. The white transparent in particular is fantastic for highlighting anything that you would put white on. I mean, I use it for everything. You paint white, use white transparent. I was using it on these guys yesterday to bring back up that gray to a white. This is all just white transparent over like that gray after the not oil wash. So it just gives you a really nice soft highlight when you're blending and layering it on. And then black transparent, I mean, you can use that for shading back black armor or black capes or anything like that is what I'll use it a lot on. I used it on like Vader.
And Panic Bomb, yes, I was going to suggest Dames, actually. I think that's a good one.
Dames.
Dame.
It's old-timey.
It is pretty old-timey.
Yeah, so it's not,
How does
Is
it
it
spell
kinda fun.
old-timey? O-L-D-E?
Yes.
Is it old-timey appropriate, or is it old-timey chicks?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, because it's old-timey, it's more more
Yes,
acceptable.
yes.
Okay.
It's like retro, vintage.
It's
Okay,
crazy
okay.
old grandpa.
Everything old is new again, and it's trendy.
Okay.
What, Jade? It was his first day.
So a
Is
lot
she
of the...
griping on the airbrush? I think Chuck broke my airbrush. Oh no.
Oh no.
It hasn't even been 2 hours.
That'll teach you.
I know.
Keep him away.
So I used a lot of the black transparent on the armor on Vader after I highlighted it up to bring it back down to that really dark black look. So, like I said, they're super versatile. You can use them for all sorts of different things. But they're amazing.
Games played poorly. I am with you. I love when I hear people calling others sugar.
Sugar?
Yeah.
That's so weird to me. I could never do that.
It's very southern.
My grandmother called me Booger.
Booger.
Yeah, that was my
Sugar
name.
booger.
I think it sounds okay. It's okay when you hear it from somebody who's very obviously from that area.
Exactly. And it really only works from a woman.
Yeah.
Like if a woman calls you sugar, it's
Yeah.
endearing. If a man does it, it's maybe a little insulting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it means I need a Monument Hobbies airbrush. There you go. So we're thanking him now. Although he's denying it. He said lies. Chuck said lies.
Lies?
Yeah, said lies.
Lies as in you didn't break the airbrush, or lies as in I don't know. Who's lying?
Tell. Telemachus just flew back from a Transformers convention.
His arms are very tired.
Tires. Boy, are my arms tires.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, he took it there. I was on to you, Tell, but not that on to you.
It's not even a dad joke.
Oh,
Come
it's a
on
dad
now.
joke.
Is it though?
Yeah, it is. If it's coming from Telemachus, it's automatically a dad joke.
That's what I'm saying. Is I expect dad jokes, and that wasn't very dad jokey.
Toots is a good one.
That's
Chuck said, "Look, I haven't broken anything all week, so you were due."
Do you have a sign at your house? Days since
Yeah.
Chuck broke something?
Reset it back to 0.
Yeah, back to 0. No pie for you.
Speaking of pie, shortcake sounds good.
Yeah, the pistol is more natural of emotion, right? Than
way
the
more.
top.
Way more ergonomic.
Yeah, because you go like that. You don't do this very often, but this is much more normal. It's a corny subversion of expectations. Pretty sure that's the definition of dad joke. That was such a dad thing to say right there too. That explanation was a very dad explanation.
Giving off big old dad energy over here.
Yeah. Also, you dare question the king of the dad jokes? That's what I'm saying, Tell. I said if it comes from Telemachus, it's a dad joke. Dad splaned.
Dad splains.
It was
Oh
a
my
little dad
gosh.
splaining. I think dads are allowed to dad splain.
This is a really interesting mix that I'm working up here for the like under scale skin for the snake. I was feeling like it was a little too different or too samey, so I wanted to go back and pull it back to something a little bit more in line with what I've got going on. So I'm mixing up its advanced flesh tone plus a little bit of deep sea Ben, and then for like the mid-tone, and then the shadow is deep sea Ben plus like warm brown.
Ain't nobody gonna see that part. Why are you painting that part?
Because it's gotta get painted. You can see this part 100%. 100% you can see this part.
When you hold the model upside down.
There are parts of this model that I can't paint, and it's driving me nuts, by the way.
Like what? Like way inside that?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
up
skirt
up in
up
here.
there, yeah.
Yeah. Like you can see her foot in there, and it's like, I'm not getting up in there to... Because I was going to like leave her separate from the snake, but her head is like attached to the snake. Which is just like a bummer. I was like, oh man, now I have to like put these together. This is where sub-assemblies would have been great. Can you imagine just like being able to completely paint the lady by herself?
Baby J
And then the
paints
snake?
enclosed interiors that nobody
Was it
will
all
see.
one piece?
He paints the inside of the Land Raider and then glues the door shut.
Yep. Oh yeah, I'm that kind of guy. No, I'm not. Not at all. Not even remotely. No, Jen, they weren't completely one piece. The snake is in 3 pieces.
Really? That snake looks like.
So you can see the like kind of crappy seam job
right
that
there.
I did
Yeah,
here.
Okay.
That I tried to cover up with paint. Don't look at it,
Oh,
please.
you did a good job. I wouldn't have noticed it until you.
And then there's another seam right here.
Oh, underneath that. Okay.
So
it's a little more
but it's
covered up.
hidden, yeah. And then those are the 3 pieces.
Gotcha.
And then she is in 1, 2, 3, like 3 pieces, 4 pieces. Her little like top knot thing is a separate piece.
Oh.
This arm is a separate piece, and then this tabard thing that goes up onto her butt is a separate piece. And then the base is separate, obviously. There's not that many pieces. It's like for the 1, 2, 3,
Hairdo, we have a lot.
4, 5,
A lot of what?
8, 9, 10.
Said I have a question about how you set up streams. How many lights do you have? I had some
All of them.
Many.
much washout when I tried this last weekend. Yeah, we have
All of them.
a lot of lighting.
It took us like a whole afternoon to redo the setup after we had already purchased all the things that we needed.
T. Schmidt dropped a pic in therapy today. Would like some CNC on it if there's time.
Oh, we're back to that. We got to look at your stuff.
We did call it Therapy Thursday.
That's not what it means. Therapy means helping people out with bad life decisions.
So I
Yeah,
moved from
there's no
Seattle.
definition of therapy Thursday.
How am I supposed to feel about this?
You're doomed. Doom, de doom, doom, doom.
feel
This is a lesson
it's
in-
gone all right.
How you have to learn to live with your choices.
Well, I'm liking it so far.
That's good considering it's the hottest time of year. You still like
Oh,
it.
yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
I don't-
In spite of all that,
I'm going to be
maybe
completely
you're in
honest with
good
you.
shape.
I don't even notice
Yeah,
how
right?
hot it is
Right,
anymore.
because we're
Yeah,
inside and-
it's just
yeah,
hot.
yeah.
Yeah. And like, yeah, this gets hot. Although it's not too bad today. I think the AC is working good today.
Yeah, it feels good in here. too.
Yesterday it was like pretty sweaty in here. But yeah, like, I mean, I came from Washington and this is not bugging me too
Yeah.
much. I mean, it took some adjusting at the beginning of the summer, like as it really kind of, we were digging into the like 115 every day.
And you know that if you stand outside too long, your skin gets
Can die.
Yeah,
pulpy.
yeah,
Feel
and I mean,
prickly
like,
on your skin. 'cause
my
it's
skin
hot.
gets a little bit irritated when I'm out in the sun too long, but I also haven't been wearing sunscreen.
Yeah.
So, you know.
When Ruben first moved here, I bought him like water bottle, like him and the girls, water bottles and sunscreen and all these things, and a sunshade for his car. I'm like, these are all things that you're gonna need to survive Arizona.
I still have not bought a sunshade for my car. I
Oh,
need to
it
do
makes
that.
such a difference. When Jason, when you guys were gone at Gen Con, I was driving Jason's car and I took mine out of my car because I was driving his car.
Uh-huh.
I took my sunshade out of my car and kept it in his because I cannot stand to not have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Yeah. I'm sure it is 100% worth it. I just keep on forgetting to buy one.
Quad says, I don't currently have one, but should I get a wife so I can murder her and then Jen can eventually watch a show about it? I mean, Jen probably approves.
You know?
I think we should probably avoid that one.
Oh, voice of reason over here.
Yes.
I think if your whole goal for getting married is to be on Dateline, probably rethink this.
Yeah, I was. I mean, it got to the point. I don't watch it as much anymore, just because kind of was always the same story.
It really is. She really lit up a room.
Yeah, they always lit up a room.
There was lit up a room.
That's
Yeah.
how they introduce anybody.
Because they have all the loved ones talking about the person who's been murdered, and they're like,
oh yeah.
I can't believe it. I can't believe anyone would do this to her. Everybody loved her. She lit up a room. She was just a wonderful person. She didn't have a single enemy.
She had one.
Obviously.
And turns out one is enough.
Maybe you don't know her as well as you thought you did.
She at least has one. Otherwise, not on this show. Just
Oh,
gonna
T.
leave it
Schmidt,
like
that's a bummer. There are easier ways to get on Dateline. That's probably true. But you don't want to talk to teenage girls on the internet either. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
She was burned to death. She lit up the room real good.
Oh my gosh.
Boy.
That's savage.
Chat.
That
Tone
was
the
hairdo.
savagery down a bit there, chat.
That is oofda.
Hoofda.
Oofda. That's a
Yeah, that
strong
was all
statement there.
hairdo. Tell. That's right. Leave room for the Holy Spirit, chat.
Leave room for the Holy Spirit, chat.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna keep that safe in.
It's not dark humor if she's still lighting up the room.
Oh my gosh.
Here we go.
Oh,
It is if she's on fire.
too soon.
Remember, hey, I wanna pipe in here. Remember, husbands get murdered too. All right.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, usually by a hitman hired by the wife.
It really is funny how that's it. It's the
always
ex.
that
It's
way.
the new boyfriend or the brother-in-law, who was jealous that his brother married the cute
Yeah.
one, and so they got together and murdered the
Yeah.
brother. And
It's always a
people are
conspiracy.
horrible.
Hashtag relationship goals.
yeah,
Yeah, it's,
people
yeah,
are horrible.
it's definitely a.
Just watch Dateline.
There's
It's a
pattern.
weird world out there.
It is kind of weird.
Living
It's
a-
weird when you're not on Dateline.
Chuck's worried. He's like, for like breaking their wife's airbrush. Watch
Pretty
out.
sure
out,
Dateline
Chuck.
would look at you and be like, "This is
I'm
not.
scared, you guys.
This is not enough."
Chuck, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Jade's
but
in the other room right now trying to Google hitmen.
I would check your wife's history. Murder for hire, not a good sign.
Test your brakes before leaving for work.
Oh my gosh.
Test your brakes before leaving for work. When your dad's friend saw his
Oh,
ex-wife
wow.
on Dateline. Oh, wow. Seriously?
Crazy.
That's nuts. He dodged a... I would say
Yeah,
so,
right?
Ruin.
Bicycle commute tomorrow for sure.
Bicycle commute. Check the brakes on the bicycle.
Right, they need them too.
If you're on a bicycle, you better have a rear view mirror, because it's easy to knock you off a bicycle. Don't clip that. I'm trying to buy a bicycle.
You're trying to buy a bicycle?
Well, Jen's birthday's coming up.
That's not how we got on that topic.
Tell says, in this heat, you'll be too tired on a bicycle. Get it?
Oh.
Too tired. De tired. His name's Tell.
She
He'll be
did
here all
enjoy
week.
it.
Try the fish.
That's good.
Try the fish.
Hairdo is relieved, I'm sure.
Oh man, I need to go to that happy hour place that we were talking about. Reminding me about all the wonderful things in the world. Food
The
related.
happy hour place
Yeah, the really good happy hour place you guys were talking
with
about.
the
Buck and
seafood.
Ryder.
Buck and Ryder.
That one. Buck and Ryder. Where? Oh, there it is. Let's say, where's all the bone? Trying to use bone over here. Not accommodating. You guys,
Something got clipped.
Uh-oh, wait a
I
minute.
feel like it's the thing you said not to clip.
Wait a minute. I specifically said
do
don't.
not clip that. Yeah. Have you guys watched any more Ted Lasso?
No,
we only have one episode left or something.
Oh wow.
Well, I don't remember. We're going to be on episode 10. I don't know if there's 10 or 12.
Oh, I think there's like 11 or 12 episodes.
3, yeah. Many episodes.
But no, we have not. And I have not watched
there
any
are 12.
Silo.
Okay. There are 12, so we're not on the last one. We
I
have
have
3
not
left.
watched any Foundation. I was going to say it's going to be a heck of a last episode
Yeah.
if it ends from
It
where we
didn't
last
seem
watched.
ready to end in the last episode. Nick Pie, is this where the hobby nerds congregate? It is.
Indeed, it is.
Welcome.
We
I've
are the
heard it
hobby nerds
said-
you speak of.
I've heard it said that we be nerdy.
She's usually the one who tells the jokes and mortifies the people around us.
I'm going to use some advanced flesh tone.
That's awesome.
Just watch me. You can't stop me. I'm
Well-
going to paint owl leather with advanced flesh tone.
Is he like ripping people's faces
Technically, leather
Leather is flesh.
So, not a far stretch. Got a dark sense of humor your entire life. Your mom was being buried and they broke the sprinkler, so we had to watch as they fixed the sprinkler, then pumped water out, then lowered it into the ground. She was a pain the whole time.
At my mom's funeral, my crazy uncle showed up completely hammered, and my uncle always has a dog sidekick, and so of course he shows up in his best suit that he only wears to funerals, and
Did it fit?
it did.
Oh, wow.
And it had in the pocket, this is how we know he only wears it to funerals, because in the pocket was the little pamphlet or whatever you call it.
For the last person that
For the
passed
last
away.
one, which was my aunt, which was like in the 90s.
Oh.
Anyway, so he's there in his suit, barely can stand up. His dog's there with him.
Barely also stand up. Dog
No, the
drinking
dog's
too.
awesome. But the dog, right in the middle, goes off and he just poops right next to the gravesite.
Nice.
Like, I'm like, okay,
Oh my
there we
gosh.
go.
That's what you do.
It's about right.
It's a good send off.
Yeah. Mom was a dog lover, so she probably didn't mind.
She had some appreciation.
Probably would have laughed. If a dog pooped on my grave at my funeral, I would probably laugh. I'm gonna be honest. I would think that was pretty funny.
I'm just mixing a little bit of advanced flesh tone in with the warm brown.
Still working on this mixture of the advanced flesh tone and dark sea Ben, which is actually a really nice color combo. Kind of like a nice pre-shade for our bone out of the matte set.
You're out of frame.
Oh,
Gordon.
sorry. model is like large enough that in
Yeah.
some directions it's like perfectly
Yeah.
on camera,
Yep.
and then I'll like rotate it to another perspective and I'll like get a better angle on what I'm trying to paint, and it'll be like completely off camera.
Yeah.
You're sitting in a hailstorm, Jade?
Oof.
What on earth?
Well,
No, I
Halo.
would not kill over an airbrush. You wanted to have that on record
What's that?
that she would not kill over an airbrush.
Oh, that's exactly
This
what
truck
somebody
was
that would kill
nervous.
over an airbrush would say
That's true.
to avoid Dateline.
That's what I'm
Dateline's
saying.
now
That's
gonna
why she typed
interview-
it here in chat so that it's permanently there.
That's right.
Because now it's on the internet.
Great. Now we're gonna get subpoenaed.
Because I know he'd buy me a new one.
That's Percival coming over there.
Good. I don't know if I've mentioned it.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Mentioned what?
This is my favorite model ever.
Oh my
Oh, really?
god. You had to ask? Oh my goodness.
When did you decide that?
Pretty much right now. Thought I'd share it with you guys. All my interwebs friends should know the types of things that appeal to me.
What's your least favorite model in existence?
Ooh, boy, that's a tough question, huh?
Something with a
Mhm.
lot of effing skulls.
Yeah, one with a lot of effing skulls. I don't know, man.
You mean Horace?
Because that's a tough one because I am a rule of cool guy. So most of the models that I paint, I at least have some want to paint them. So I don't know that any of them are just like, oh, what a tiresome bore this thing is.
I have definitely painted some models that I had no interest in painting in my life.
Yeah, I think if you're doing commission work or studio painting work
Yeah.
and you're forced to paint
You just gotta
models that
suck it
don't
up
appeal
and
to you
paint.
because they're just part of the job,
Yep.
that could definitely float some. But no, I've been very lucky. I don't know that I have anything that I would say is worthy of hatred. Chat, can you remember anything that I painted that I was just hating the entire time? Years ago, that Halo Ground Command box set that I've talked about, that sucked.
Well, those you just hated the miniatures, right? More than anything else.
Yeah, but I think that made the experience kind of the same, right? It's like, this is not cool. But yeah, it was not like a particular miniature that I hated for any given reason. Eidolon's white cape turned into Pro Acryl, so no, I can't say I hated that model. The model was actually fun to paint.
Which one?
Forge World's Eidolon, the first captain of the Emperor's Children, 30K. I painted an entire Emperor's Children army for a guy in Australia, one
Oh,
of
you
our
did?
old viewers.
Oh, wow.
And Eidolon's cape is what gave birth to me starting to hand mix white.
Oh, so this was a while ago.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
2016.
Yeah, it's...
Anything with a lot of Chotskys is pretty much off my menu. I don't dig them, but I still paint, a lot that have a lot of doohickeys.
Yeah. I mean, heck, we did Horus.
I don't know. I don't, just like looking around, I don't see anything that makes me think that it would be like just horrible experience to paint. Nor does anything remind me of anything in the past that was horrible to paint. Oh man. I paint what I like, so I don't feel like there's a lot that I've ever had to be like, nope.
Yeah.
There are models that as I start to paint them, I was really jazzed about them, and then as I get deeper into them, I'm not as jazzed, you know?
Yeah, that I do get, 100%.
So that happens. But even that's rare. Because again, it's models I pick, so I might take a break from a model and then come back later. But
I do that fairly frequently.
P3 Plastics? What is P3? Privateer Press? P2? Plastics? They're just hard to clean. Because their molding process was garbage. Like, especially bodies of like, Banes and
those plastics.
the Kador plastic troops and stuff like that were horrible to have to clean. They just had really bad flash and mold slippage and things like that.
Yeah, they never really got the plastics down particularly well.
You could tell they were Chinese.
Oh, 100% they were.
So that's always a hard thing to QC, no matter what.
Yeah.
Fin blades, yeah, fin blades. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think, like, off the top of my head. Now, I might have hated a model so bad that I just will put it out of my mind, and then I can't tell you because I don't remember.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't.
I
don't feel like
I have scrubbed this experience from my
Yeah,
mind.
from my. It is scrubbed from the history, from the annals of history. Annals is a weird word.
Yes, yes, it is.
You know, because when you say it, you're like, I feel like I'm on the verge of getting canceled.
Yep.
Like somebody's gonna think I said something wrong.
It is like a legitimate word. It's just a little bit on the weird side.
All right, so now there's only a little bit of warm brown going in here. Warm brown, advanced flesh tone. Really good leather. Not mad at this at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty much using that same recipe, just with a little bit of the dark sea bend on it. It is very nice.
We still have a malevolent one with us, or did Malev leave?
Malev, are you here? Can you communicate with us beyond the veil?
Last thing he asked about, I think, was the I can't believe it's not oil wash.
Yes, that sounds right.
Which I feel like that really needs to be the name.
Can't believe it's not oil wash?
Well, we can't really do that, I don't think, because I think it's like somebody would get mad at us.
Probably.
I can't believe it's not butter, people.
I can't believe it's not copyrighted.
I can't believe it's not copyrighted. Thought I had it fixed, then nope. And now we have a cat hiding. He hates storms. You thought you had what fixed? You walked outside and
I think the airbrush.
asked Mother Nature to. I'm not following this conversation.
New Ahsoka show came out day before yesterday.
Oh, did you watch it?
I have not.
Aww.
Well, I sort of watched it.
Jade, all you wanted to do was prime your Morgan. Oh, the airbrush. Gotcha.
They released it on Tuesday night, and they were playing it the first 2 episodes at Samurai last night. So I was like, vaguely watching
loosely
it.
paying attention.
Yeah.
Gladiator, what's my favorite hockey team? I don't have one. I played hockey for years and years. During the course of that, my favorite team was the Bruins for most of that. The Bruins and the Canucks. No, I'm sorry, the Canadians, not the Canucks. Les Habitants. But I followed other teams. I just am I love hockey, so for me it doesn't really matter. The like the Reading Nailers in PA for minor league hockey and stuff. We'd go see minor league games. Or Reading was not the Nailers. The Wheeling was the Nailers. Reading was I forget. But then I moved to Dallas, and I lived in Dallas, and the North Stars moved down and became the Stars, and so I was a Stars fan. I donated a bunch of time to the Stars organization, coaching midget hockey, as they were getting their social outreach programs going when the Stars were in their first years of being down there. And so I was a Stars fan, I guess you'd say, and all the way up until they won the Stanley Cup. So I was at game, I want to say it was game 6 for that series where they beat Buffalo for the Cup. Then I lived in New York, and I couldn't ever become a Rangers fan. Just not a big Rangers fan, but I love the Islanders. So I would go out to watch Islanders games, and I played at a rink called Sky Rink where the Rangers practice. So it's fun because I actually did get ice time on with the Rangers. Not with the Rangers directly, but with some of the teams from out of town, because if you know anything about New York, the practice rink is over in Chelsea Piers, which is on the west side, and on the Hudson, and it was very hard to get to midday, traffic-wise. And so a lot of times teams that were coming in to play against the Rangers or the Islanders would come in and practice at our rink where we were the house team, and we would get to skate. So that was a lot of fun. But I don't know that I ever really had any teams. Then I moved out to California, and I followed the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. They won a championship while I was out there.
The correct answer is the Chicago Blackhawks.
That's what she thinks. Jen is a Blackhawks fan.
Yeah.
Which I have no idea why. Why? Just because they're cool?
Yeah.
I have no skin in this game.
Yeah, it was Madonna. Yep. Madonna. I played goaltender and defense. The older I got, the more I played goal. The Anaheim Ducks, by the time I got there, they were no longer the Mighty Ducks. Although I do have a Mighty Ducks jersey signed from the cup-winning team, but it's on the old jersey, not the new jersey.
Did Emilio Estevez sign it?
Emilio Estevez did not sign it. He had nothing to do with them. Sacrilegious question, but how does your wash medium perform with other brands of paint? It's fine as long as they're acrylic paints. Yeah. Yeah, it'll make any standard acrylic paint into a glaze or wash very easily. It's built as a tool to use with whatever you want. Obviously, we formulate it with our paints, but not so that it only works with our paints, or that it probably just works better with our paints. But I don't know. I don't know that I'd even say that, because we did never really test it. We manufacture in a vacuum to some extent. We manufacture for use with our paints, but it is built to work with anything acrylic. So you're a knucklehead. Oh no. I walked on with the Fort Worth Brahmas. Was the only time that I thought I might try to do something, but I was old by then. Old comparatively speaking. I was approaching 30. I think I was 20. Yeah, I might have been like 27. 27, 28. I was old for hockey.
What's the peak age for hockey?
1920 to 23, maybe.
Yeah, some
I
of
mean,
those
you can play well.
kids are
You
young,
can
'cause
play
they don't-
well for a lot longer, but you're not going to walk onto a team and get a spot.
Well, and they
That's what I
don't. It's not the same. Like they don't. It's not like the NBA or the NFL where they're finding people in colleges all the time, right? Aren't they looking at like
No,
high
it is. It's
schools
just that
and-
hockey is fed by the Division I college system in the U.S. feeds some, a larger amount year over year, especially from like Wisconsin area, Denver University, and then of course the East Coast colleges feed in. But it's junior A level hockey in Canada that is really where all of that feeds from.
Right. A lot of the younger players are from other places.
Well, and then
Right.
Europeans.
Yeah, with the names they can't fit on the jersey because
Yeah, too many consonants, no vowels,
Yeah.
and it goes from like elbow to elbow. Did you hear a couple years ago the Carolina Hurricanes had injuries happen and they actually dressed their Zamboni driver to play? Yeah, I think the Chicago Blackhawks had a local guy. They were in town, or was it Toronto? It might have been the Maple Leafs, and they were someplace and called in a guy that they knew that was like played in the local beer league, and he came out and played goal and like made all his saves.
Yeah.
Didn't let in a single goal. Played for like 5 minutes. But they went through 3 goaltenders that night. Or their main goalie was out, their second goaltender hurt himself, and the backup to the backup hurt themselves, so they had to call a guy local
Oh, that's crazy.
to go get his stuff from his garage and come out and play. Was that Alberta?
No, he's saying that that's where he is. in
Oh,
Alberta.
gotcha. Yeah, there were all sorts of like articles that time. I have to admit I was a little jealous. Because I'm like, well, nobody ever called me, But it's really crazy to think that in a professional team, out of you dress 2 goalies, to think that you had to go through 3 Well, they really only went through 2 because I think the main starter was out hurt. But they had to go through both their dressed goalies, and their starter couldn't come on the ice, and they had nobody else.
Yeah.
Because it's amazing, because a lot of goaltending, like your equipment guys and stuff, aren't all hockey players, and so you can't. It's like if you think of it in the NFL and a lineman hurts himself, there's nobody on the bench that you can pull that's like the Gatorade boy. It's just not how that works.
Yeah.
Same in hockey. But they got this guy. He came in and he sat in net and for like 5 minutes or something like that. You can look it up. It was a lot of fun to watch. I just saw the replays and stuff, but that guy had to be living his best life.
Yeah.
He had to be like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I think it was Toronto, now that I'm thinking about it. Why would you be a Canucks fan in Alberta? There are 2 teams for you to choose from. Because he likes Todd Bertuzzi.
Do you still follow hockey?
No. I can't. There was a problem when I left and I was living on the road, right? It made it very difficult to watch television because, I had a satellite dome on my trailer,
Yeah.
but it just never worked well, because you always had to reposition it, and it supposedly had like a tracking thing, so it was always pointed in the right direction, but it never was. And so I didn't have much that I could watch. And I just kind of drifted away from it when I couldn't watch. I would look at it on the internet, to see who was winning and stuff. But eventually, I just stopped really paying attention from an active standpoint. Every now and then, Jen and I will get tickets from something, and we'll go. But I haven't tried to actively buy tickets since I lived in California. When I lived in California, I was a season ticket holder for the Ducks, season ticket holder for the Stars. You couldn't possibly be a season ticket holder for the Rangers. There's just no way, unless you're big money. There's waiting lists like miles long for Madison Square Garden games of any sport. But I haven't really. I mean, we've never tried to buy tickets, have we?
No.
We just got them through
We just get them
event
free.
things.
Yeah, through like because I like the Blackhawks, I signed up for like emails from the NHL.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
and
yeah,
because we're local, it's always been through the Coyotes that they do these promos, and they're basically seat fillers. So I feel like it's when they don't have a sold out game, they offer tickets to people, and then you have to like do a survey afterwards. So like we got a free ticket, free parking, 2 free tickets and parking, and then we just had to like buy something from the concessions.
something. Yeah.
and then answer 3 questions afterwards.
I think it
or
was just
something.
answer questions after,
Yeah.
like, fill out a survey.
It was super.
about the
It was
rink.
super easy, and it's fun because they're usually really
They're
good.
good seats. We've never gotten bad
They've both
seats.
been like one of the
You're never
first time
behind
we
a
went, they were
stanchion
really
or
good.
in the nosebleed. We were like
Yeah, no,
10
we were
rows
down
off
in
the
the
glass,
in the
center ice.
lower level.
Yeah. Moo says ice hockey is the hardest sport you've ever played, and you're in England. What does the in England part mean? Lots of ouch.
Maybe compared to like rugby or something. I don't
Ice
know.
hockey is the hardest sport you'll ever play, no matter where you're at. It's rugby on ice.
On ice. That's that extra
They-
element.
You
You
literally
can say
fight
any.
people.
You can name any other tough sport, and then say, and
On
hockey's
ice.
that on ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden is like all corporate. So trying to get, I mean, they obviously, I think they have personal season tickets, but yeah, you were never going to even call. When I moved there, I called in and I said, hey, what, is there a list? And they go, the guy was like almost laughing.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, there is. But what they
You're not
had is
gonna get
they had a deal where you could buy, it was almost like buying timeshare. You could buy into these groups where everybody that wasn't using their tickets put them, but they were always at like face value times 10.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I got on this like, this is, we're talking about like 1998 time frame to the 2003. So there was not like big, there was no Facebook. There was probably MySpace still. But it was on a forum. They had like a bulletin board where people would go in there and drop stuff and say, I have 2 tickets for this, but
Yeah.
it was the timing was not fast enough back then. Like we get to use to where you can see somebody post on Facebook 3 minutes ago and contact them and they have it and you get it. That was like, if anybody posted the day of it, there was a good chance you'd never see it,
Yeah.
So
I know people who like do a pool of season tickets for like baseball when they have a million games. You buy season tickets to baseball, you're never going to go to all those games. There's way too many. So people will buy with their friends, they go in and buy like 4 season tickets and then they just split them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm going to go to 20 games and you're going to go to 20 games and you're going to go to 20 games.
yeah, I had a half a season that I bought in with some buddies for Philadelphia, but we lived in Allentown, Bethlehem, and so it was a pretty big haul to drive down to Philly, so I wasn't going to commit to the full season, but I bought a half a season and wound up going to almost all the games. My shtick in Philly is I wore the hat because I used to collect. I had hats and jerseys for every team, pretty much in the NHL. And so Philly, I was never a Philly fan, right? But I liked the Flyers, and so. But what I really liked is how ridiculous Philly fans are. Like they're so beer drinking, enemy of the other team kind of mentality. So I would always wear the get up for the opposing team. Always.
Yeah.
And my buddy that I had the
remember
tickets
this.
with was
Yes.
a huge Flyers fan,
Yeah.
and he hated it. He hated it. If we drove separately, I'd get there and he'd be shaking his head. We always had the same seats, and everybody around us knew us, and they all knew I was going to wear
Yeah.
the opposing seat, so it didn't matter. If I didn't have it, I probably had if they had changed cities, like the Hurricanes, I had the Whalers, so I'd wear my Whalers hat, and so every now and then I'd throw them off because they wouldn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
But I always wore the jersey or the hat for the opposing team, and the people around me it was fun eventually, but at the beginning they were all like booing me the whole time. It was funny.
They get it eventually.
Ice is solid when you fall. Yeah. It's like concrete.
Yeah, that would suck.
It's like concrete. The ice isn't the hard part. The skating is not the hard part, right? The tracking the puck while you're skating is not the hard part. The keeping the puck on your stick while you're skating is not the hard part. The hard part is that there's all those other people on the ice.
Not run into them.
And the boards. The boards are the hard. The boards are worse when you're playing in Canada, and the boards are made out of chain link.
Oh.
Everybody in chat, X up if you're old enough to have played on a rink with chain link boards. It's standard like plexi poly boards, but then where the glass would be was chain link.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that basically like
The boards are
Waist up?
The boards are like fiberglass, like hip high or whatever, 4 feet, but then above that where the glass was supposed to be was chain link.
yeah?
Because
that's-
outdoors. So nobody was going to buy it was like the town rink,
Yeah.
The fact that they had boards that weren't just like falling down plywood was pretty amazing. Your brother lives in South New Jersey, so there are a lot of Philly fans, and there's certainly a different breed. Oh yeah, if you're down by Newark, not Newark, where Bon Jovi lives. What is that part of Jersey?
Hoboken?
I never remember that. It's right across from Philly. Trenton.
Trenton?
Trenton.
Oh, Hoboken is across from
Hoboken's
Manhattan. Close to
Manhattan.
Manhattan,
Yeah. Hoboken starts at the tunnel. You haven't lived until your favorite player got bruised by a Broad Street bully. Of course, we were going down there when Hextall was in net. Lindros was there in his young years. They were big dudes, Philly. They hit people.
They hit people.
They hit people hard. They were brawling. I loved it.
Isn't that just like part of the fun?
Ron Hextall,
I imagine
angriest
that's
goalie ever to play the game.
part of the fun.
Although Patrick Waugh is close. It's just that Patrick Waugh was French, so everybody thought he was kidding. I think nobody took Patrick Waugh as serious until he fought Mike Vernon, probably. Hextall would chase people down. So watching Hextall was one of those things where, as a coach, because I would be goalie coach for kids, and kids that had watched people like him play would like to hack the back of people's calves and knees with their stick. And you had to wean them of that real quick, because that's a really good way to get into a really bad fight and get thrown out really quick. Like, you just can't do that. You have to find a way to massage the back of their knees with your blocker. You know, you can't be like hitting them with your stick. I remember a buddy of mine one day, I was having a rotten day in that at practice, and a buddy of mine who's a forward on our team was griefing me a little bit because it was just practice, but I was really having a bad day. And he came by, and everybody on the team knew not to drink out of my water bottle. They knew not to drink out of the water bottle that was in the holder. If you know anything about, like, probably don't unless you played, the goalie net generally has a cooler holder on one side so that your bottle doesn't go flying off the net the whole time as pucks and people are running into it. So there's a little fabric, nylon bottle holder on one side. So if my bottle that was in the holder, everybody knew not to drink. I always had another one, like a Gatorade bottle that was on the other, that people could come by and drink from. And he came over and he kept taking the bottle out of my holder and drinking. And it's just a weird thing. It was just a tick of mine. It didn't matter that he drank out of that. It was just water out of the fountain, nothing big. But it just got to me. And that day I snapped and I whacked him in the back of his knee with my stick. And I swear to God, Coach nearly kicked me off the team because I hurt him so bad with the paddle of my stick and hit him so hard. And afterwards in the parking lot, he smacked me in the eye so bad.
Oh,
he
man.
blacked my eye so bad. I deserved it, but
He disrespected your water bottle.
he disrespected my damn water bottle.
Yeah.
We need a hockey nerd sticker. Nah. A full body check tackle, which is in the rules and allowed. It hurts even with the armor. Billy Smith, yeah. Old time hockey goalies, right? They didn't have like big like today's goalies. I was watching. What was I watching? It was lacrosse, professional lacrosse, and the professional lacrosse player, the guy in goal, had more pads than the Michelin Man. It made ice hockey look silly.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wondering to myself, like, I know lacrosse is a sport I don't like to play. I had buddies that played lacrosse out of Maryland and stuff like that, and every now and then I would go out and they'd have a deal. They played, like, beer league lacrosse. And I'd go out and every now and then they'd be like, here, put these gloves on. Hold this stick, because it's crazy, right? Lacrosse is a totally different set of skills. And plays like hockey, not like hockey at all, other than to go up and down the field. But they would hit you across your forearms with those sticks.
Oh,
Stick
yeah.
check you.
Yep.
It's a totally different world, man. Totally different world. Because they had leverage because they weren't on ice. So they're flat-footed, hitting you with these weapons across your forearms. And I'm like, nope, dude, never playing this game. Threw the gloves off and was like, nope, not doing it. Played a community league lacrosse when you were younger. Yeah, not a sport for me, man. Moo says, do I skate? I haven't skated since when? 2017?
I don't know. I haven't ever seen you ice skate, so I don't know.
I was skating when we met, but when I started living out in Gilbert, I stopped, I think.
So
I don't think
you
I drove
moved there
back.
in
Oh, maybe I did. I
2015.
actually did. I skated a little bit once I moved to Gilbert because I was coming back. It was funny because I was driving all the way back out here to 40th Street in Thomas, that rink. Because we were looking, you told me there was a rink out in Gilbert, but it didn't have pickup times any good time. There was a rink that was somewhere out there. I remember that. But I played at something called maybe the Ice House or something out here. It's the Junior B Arizona team plays out of it. That's off of like 41st Street in Thomas. It's still there, I think. But no, I haven't played. I haven't played since, I want to say 2017. Yeah, not having. I got to the point where I didn't have insurance and I hurt my knee again down here, and it really scared me that time because I was like, oh, I just can't be doing that anymore, you know. I hyperextended my knee really bad, and if I tear any more ligaments, it's going to be hard to walk. So no. Does Patrick Waugh count as old time, or are we talking George Vezina? Well, I mean, Vezina has a trophy named after him, so he's old. But I've always said that if I could drop and get back into like, you know, the 195, 200 range of weight, I now that I have insurance, you might catch me skating. I might actually go skate. I miss it dramatically. I still have all my gear. It's in storage. It's no good. I would have to buy new gear, but I still have all of it. Yeah, you know, it's one of the things I miss because I used to say it and motorcycling were the things that I would have to be put in a pine box to stop doing. And I quit both of them. So it's a real bummer.
What was the reasoning for the motorcycle?
I have an inner ear damage in my left ear that caused me not be able to hear real well. And I think that's part of what plays with sometimes I get vertigo.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
hard to be on
when
a
I
bike.
first met Jen, or early on after that, I got a couple really bad bouts of vertigo due to my ear, and it would like nearly make me sick and pass out.
Ooh.
And so I was like, at that time, I was like, I can't imagine being on the motorcycle 100 miles an hour down the freeway.
Having this happen.
And if that happened, I'd be dead. I'd be a grease stain on the highway. So there'd be no way. Nope. So at some point, your adult brain cell has to kick in. I don't know that it's fair to call it an adult brain cell, though, to be honest with you.
Does it keep you alive?
I don't know. Ish.
You can call it an adult brain cell. I'll allow it.
I mean, it might be your kid brain cell, right? Your kid brain cell might be the one that's like, we still got stuff to do. But I don't think so. Because the kid brain cell is also the one that doesn't really rationalize that out very far.
Yeah.
And determines that you just keep still doing the stupid stuff anyway.
Everybody say hi to Jacob.
Hi, Yakov. The Russian spy.
What have you been up to for the last 40 minutes, half hour?
Oh yeah, it's 4:30.
I played Fall.
Oh. Vanguard?
Yeah.
You're in love.
The game's fun.
What is it?
Hard Fight Vanguard.
Oh yeah, Vanguard. You've been playing that at lunch, right?
You gotta put the mic in front of your face, Jacob.
Oh, I thought it was close enough.
Remember, you gotta eat it. Mic, you gotta be eating the mic. Or else. We're getting real close. Getting real close here.
I'm painting the letter opener. Is the letter opener magic? Does it have a name?
You can give it a name.
Excalibur.
Excalibur.
Oh, Excalibur.
Excalibur.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excalibur.
My phone.
The letter opener.
It speaks to him.
It has to be Excalibur.
What is it? Some saucy tart in a lake throws a sword at you, doesn't make you king?
What'd you say?
I think it's from I don't know if the line is specifically, but I think it's like some saucy tart in a lake throwing a sword at you doesn't make you king. That was from the Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh.
I am Arthur, King of the Britons. Oh, I didn't vote for you. You don't vote for king. The Lady of the Lake bestowed upon me. Saucy tart throws a sword at you. Doesn't make you king.
Feels good to be working on the stone now.
You feel like you're at the closing.
Yeah.
Always when doing the base, you're like, wow.
Yeah, you're like, oh, we're getting to that point where it's like, I'll probably have you take a look at this and be like, with some fresh eyes, and just be like, all right, I need to point out some things that I missed.
Deathspawn, head home to podcast and try to and fix a paint job on a face. If I have to remove this model's head one more time, I'll freak out.
No.
Oh my god, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't let it get to you. Now, motorcycles, that's a bit different. Older you get, the faster you go. I never had a problem with going fast. But I rode real janky motorcycles. All of my motorcycles in the later years of building, because I built vintage Harley Davidsons. Nothing. Well, it's not true. I built like a couple in 1970. I think I built a 1972 that was a Shovelhead FXR. 1973 Shovelhead FXR. But that was the only one that I built after that. I had a Dyna and some late model bikes that I never did anything with other than ride. But all the bikes that I built were pre-1970 vintage Harley Davidsons. And I didn't have a battery on any of them. They were all magneto fired with a coil and direct off the magneto for all the electrics. So no battery. So you'd stop at stoplights and have to rev the light to keep the headlight running at night. Cops would pull you over invariably because of like loud pipes or something like that and want to know everything about the bike, and you're like, well, there's only 3 things. It's really simple. I had a back brake only, no front brake. You know anything about stopping vehicles? That's the exact opposite of the way you want it. Turns out the front brake does most of the stopping.
Why on earth would you do that?
What, stop? That's my idea.
Yeah, why
Just
would you
keep going.
stop? Just keep going. No, why would you make it harder for you to stop? What's the benefit
back
of
brake was
having-
on the foot, front brake was on the hand. And when you have a bike that's like a hand clutch or a hand shift, foot clutch,
This is
your
easier to-
left hand could be right in the middle of downshifting, so your right hand, I always preferred to not have it have to be doing my braking.
Got it.
I'm not the smartest man alive. I'm just going to be real honest about this. So
Well, you are the
when it
pretty
comes
one.
to motorcycles, there was a lot sacrificed for holy hell, that's a really cool motorcycle.
Well, you are the pretty one, remember?
I am the pretty one, somehow. Even though I played hockey and rode motorcycles. I still have all my own teeth. Well, that's not true. They pulled 2 of them last year or the year before or whatever.
Nothing to do with hockey, though. So where do you do this podcast? Is that something you do sitting here in the chairs?
Me? No, I'll do it at my computer at my desk so I don't interrupt you guys.
Oh,
Why would it interrupt us?
If I did it right here and was talking to the Longwar guys while you're trying to do the stream, that would be
the stream
kind of
ends
bad.
at the
But
same
but
time.
you're doing it after stream.
Huh?
You're doing it after stream.
It happens like right at the same time. I gotta call in for all the sound check crap.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what time you need to do that, but it's 4:34 right now.
Probably not till like 4:45. I said 4:30, but I'm not looking at my messages though, so who knows? Rob may be yelling at me, whatever.
Sugar Rush, they're coming along. We haven't started making them yet, but we have a lot of the components that we need.
What's that, brushes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the dipping machine. It's a machine that is handmade by rando people.
Rando people.
There's not a machine. Like, there is no such thing as a machine that does what we need it to do, so you just got to make one. So we're currently in the throes of working with a local engineering firm to make a better version, because the one that they use in Germany is legit, like, handmade, and doesn't have like a good logic controller for up down. It's heavily manual. Let's just put it that way. And we're trying to add some automation so that we don't have to have somebody that's been making brushes for 80 years run the thing.
Sandsliker said, is there a good technique for using your primers for brush on purposes? Thinning, general advice. No thinning.
Don't thin our primers ever, even off the brush. You know, in order to get them to work well, you may put a little bit of moisture on your brush, but you don't want much. The first layer is going to be very tough to maneuver. It's going to be kind of like oil on water. It's going to spread a little bit because obviously this stuff is made to be airbrushed. So the first layer that you put on is going to give you a little less opacity, but that's okay. Let that set up. And then once you've done that, you'll come back after it with your second layer, and that'll start to stick and give you opacity. And you just put that on, and then you do a third layer if you need to. Touching up as you go. Pretty simple. It scares a lot of people with the primer brushing on that first layer is like when you put it on, you get like, oh my god, this isn't sticking to the model. Because you're putting on so much more material when you brush paint, even when you're trying to be careful, than you do when you airbrush. So you're putting on more paint than the model probably wants at that point. But just let that set up for, 15, 20 minutes after you do it, and then come back after it with the other layers, and you're good to go.
And is there a podcast on Twitch?
Yes.
But
they get me through Google. They broadcast on Twitch, not me.
But like, would we raid the podcast?
Oh, you could, yeah.
And then everyone can listen to it?
Oh, yeah, you could. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Be kind of neat.
I'm doing the Long War podcast now. I haven't been on in years. I used to be a member of the Long War broadcast team as such. And
they don't do this podcast regularly anymore?
They do it weekly.
Oh.
Just without Jason.
Oh, did you say you haven't been on it in years?
Yeah, I haven't been on it in years.
I thought you said they haven't been on in years. I'm like, what?
I haven't been on it in
Gotcha.
years. And so Rob was like, hey, we should have you on. I was like, cool. Let me know.
Well, we'll do that today then.
And the funny thing is, I don't think they told Kenny.
You what?
I don't think he told Kenny. I think he's.
Oh,
I think
it'd be a
it's gonna
surprise
like,
to Kenny.
Look, it's Jason.
Oh, was Kenny on that
Omicron.
podcast?
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Yeah,
Enjoy
the
your dinner.
Long War is Rob, Kenny, and maybe Wyatt. Still. It used to be Mike Haspel. But Mike's work schedule and his authoring keeps him from it a lot. I think they still have him on there from time to time.
Seamus, thank you for the follow.
Thank you.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Gladiator would like to know if Pro Acryl acts well with GW paint.
Sure. There is nothing crazy about our medium. You don't have to thin it with a special thinner, nothing like that. Like, you run into paint brands every now and then that if you don't use the right medium with them, it acts all funky or whatever. Our paint is not that way at all. You can mix it with any other paints. You can use other paints mediums, blah, 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 blah. It usually works very, very well. The one thing I will tell you is that our paint doesn't want to be thinned as much as other hobby paints you may be familiar with. Because we already have a fairly light-bodied medium. Not an airbrush paint. Our paints are opaque. Tons and tons of pigment. But they don't need to be thinned for viscosity. You're really just thinning them to get them more transparent if you're doing filtering and things like that. So just be aware that if you're used to thinning GW paints a particular way by adding X amount of water or medium to them, that if you thin our paints the same way, they're going to act a lot differently.
Yeah, Gladiator, definitely use that link and see if there's tons of stores in Canada. So there might not be one near where you live, but you'll find someone for sure that can ship to you for much more reasonable shipping than if you buy it direct from us. And probably a lot faster. We are very much trying to spread the word in Canada that,
Yeah, we hate to see
that
people
there are
order.
stores all over there that,
I hate
that
to see
have,
people order and pay customs
Yeah.
fees like they do. Holy hell, Canada robs you guys with stuff coming over the border.
well, and the shipping is not cheap at all.
No.
From here
No,
to
well,
Canada.
Canada Post, they went on strike and changed a bunch of stuff, and they redid all. I think they had to renegotiate all their stuff with USPS and border crossing.
Yeah, so
Not real sure how all that worked, but all of a sudden stuff was ridiculously expensive to Canada after the
Jason.
postal strike. They got rid of their what was it? They had their flat rate Canada Post box. Anything up to a kilo coast to coast was pretty cheap. I think they got rid of that.
oh yeah, it was like $7 or something, 7 Canadian. or
7
something
Canadian,
like
which is like 25 cents.
that.
Virtually free.
Everything but free.
I said virtually. You got a second, Jason?
What's up?
You want to take a look at this? Make sure I didn't miss anything crazy. I don't trust my eyeballs right now.
You don't trust your eyeballs.
Nicholas said the only weirdness I've ever had with Monument paint was over the contrast primer spray, but that could have been finger oil from touching the model too. Not sure.
I always love
But
getting
I feel like some of the primers are.
We got to remember, rattle can primers are
Yeah.
atrocious. Period. For models. We don't factor those in for testing. Unless you can get a really, really good matte finish one, you're going to see some pilling up because of how light our medium is. And again, you probably added a lot of water in with them. And if you go over rattle can primer, it really shows how when our paint gets wet, that you'll see it act a lot more watery as you thin it down, and the surface tension of water starts to pull it into droplets, and so it looks like oil on or water on oil. So what do you want me to look at?
just general stuff. If something looks out of place or you think it needs a little bit more work, obviously there's the little like things on her waist that need to be like silver or something.
Am I critiquing?
Well, it's to some extent maybe like things that I maybe didn't see or something you're like, oh, this looks kind of weird. Stuff that I might have missed. Because I've been looking at this model constantly for the last like.
Yeah.
Fangs and mouth on the snake, eyes on the snake.
Okay.
The
yeah,
snake.
Oh, yeah, the snake space.
The wings. I feel like you didn't finish the feathers here at the top, right? So the snake head wings and stuff. I really like the blood on the arrows.
Yeah, that's just dark crimson.
Yeah, that really pops out nice.
Yeah, it looks great. It has like a nice little bit of shine.
A little bit
to
of
it.
highlight on the rattle, probably.
Yeah.
You've got a good mid-tone on there, but the highlight is lacking a bit. Your light is hitting this way very prominently because of the light here and across here.
Yep.
But you have all of these scale faces that face that direction. I feel like you've pointed light on these. I think you probably have it on those across the top here too. Because if your light is hitting here, all of those scale faces face your light. And you've gone lighter through here.
Yeah, I went a little softer in the middle just to add a little bit more volume and shape to it. I had it a little bit brighter before, but I didn't want to overwhelm.
Starts being like racing stripes.
Yes, yeah. Because I like having it be the brighter on the front side, having it dull down a little bit, and then bright as it comes back up and it gets more exposed to the light again. I think it's more visually appealing that way.
Yeah, I really like the blue on the feathers. Yeah, I think you're just in that last final detail hell, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're just getting into those pinpoint things that you gotta.
I think the stone looks good. I think it's a relatively good value comparatively.
Very nice. Yeah, I think just the mouth and head on there, the wings.
Easy enough to do.
Looks great.
Thank you for your input.
It sounds like Jade fixed her airbrush because she's saying that Chuck will live.
Chuck will live.
Chuck
So
will
that's
live.
very good. We're not going to see them on Dateline.
All right, I got a jet.
You got a jet?
I got a jet.
All right.
But
Oh, T. Schmidt's going to miss.
We got a little bit of time yet. I'll try and touch up some of these things.
sitting here, I'm doing
Schmidt's
the same
asking
thing.
if
My
there's
model is
time for
like
therapy.
one.
It's kind of in that spot too.
One
right?
is like 5% as big as yours, and I'm at that like I'm losing myself in details. Like I'm staring at it, going, I gotta be finished here pretty soon, and then I haven't even touched the feather.
Yeah, that
I
feather at
gotta
the top of
figure
his
out what I'm doing
blade.
with this
That's
feather.
why I'm like,
Right on this beacon on his forehead.
yeah, I need somebody to like take a look at stuff a lot of the time when I'm like getting to the point where I'm done, because I'm like, all right, I need a fresh set of eyes. Because I totally forgot that I didn't get around to getting the snake done.
Snake
That-
mouth, eyes,
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah, because
fangs.
I just like
Yeah.
I was so stuck doing all the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy to miss stuff like the feather. Right?
Go Sue, that it was very cool, right? To hear that kind of evaluation on an amazing looking model.
Yeah, it's phenomenal looking model. I really like the stone.
Yeah.
The stone in her skirt on there, that base is really bitchin'. Nice, subtle.
Yeah, I didn't want to go super crazy with it, and I think doing that nice like warm highlight
Worked really well.
pulls really
Yep.
nicely with the warm highlights on
It
the
worked
scales
really,
and
really
everything.
well.
Nick said the only thing missing is a Hello Kitty tattoo.
Yes.
So get on that, Jordan,
Mom.
and
Yes.
then you can call it done.
Mom on the shoulder.
Mom on the shoulder.
A Hello Kitty heart with mom
Yeah.
on a banner. That would make that model, actually. That'd be like the perfect Easter egg.
Thug life on our belly.
Hug life. Oh
Hug
my
life.
god. Hug life.
Hug
Yours.
life.
Hug life.
Oh my god.
The snake needs the hug life tattoo.
Hug
Snake's
life
just-
on the snake. Oh,
snake's
yes.
just giving
yes.
her a hug.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right,
you,
gang.
Sugar Rush.
If you join us on the Long War podcast in a little bit, I will see you there. I'm guest appearing.
Guest DJ.
I'm the guest DJ on
You're
the,
the
on the
DJ?
Long War podcast. All right, gang. See you in a bit.
Bye.
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 Have fun.
I'll see you later. It's fine. I didn't want to kiss goodbye. That's okay. No, it's okay.
No, I figured you'd come in on the stream.
No, I didn't want to interrupt because you're live on the podcast and it's not ours.
How you doing over there, Jacob?
I've spent the past hour trying to figure out what card size Yu-Gi-Oh cards are, and the closest I could find is Bridge.
Aren't they just like? You mean closest ones that you can get
Yes.
print? Yeah. Okay. Because I was like, it should be pretty easy to find the actual dimensions of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah, like the closest one for like this website to order them is Bridge. It is 0.25 inches
Oh,
too tall, but I think that's fine.
It didn't work. Wait, it worked for you though. Oh my!
because you're not supposed to touch it anymore.
That's true, but the button should do the same thing. I guess I'm not touching it anymore.
I just wasn't paying attention.
It is weird that that one doesn't. Which button did you press?
To Jordan Solo.
Weird. Yeah, I pressed the same button. Didn't do it.
T. Schmid says if Jacob is looking for sleeves, it's a standard Japanese size, I think.
I'm not looking for sleeves. We're printing out proxies for some games, so I need the actual dimensions of the physical card. I found them online. So I figured it out by now. It just took a while.
It just took a while.
There's a lot of stuff on the internet.
Alrighty. So we're gonna paint some snake features. This is so sketchy, like painting this close to the face on this model. Ugh. Sorry for getting my head in the frame. I'm trying to like see the back side of this snake. Jen, what is the last model you painted?
I mean, I'm currently painting. The last time I painted was when? It was a day when Jason was gone for something, and I painted with you on stream, Jordan. It was a month ago, maybe.
I do remember this.
And I'm painting the Road Girl academic bust, which is a Journeyman Miniatures bust. Yeah, the bomber girl. Is she a bomber girl? She's a road girl.
You got that general kind of hat
Yeah.
going on.
Nope, no spot on stream for me to paint now unless one of them is not painting.
Mm-hmm. I think tomorrow will have to be the day for me to finish all of this up. There's just too much for me to get around to today. But I think we can do all the silver tomorrow that I'm missing, which won't be too bad. We can say goodbye to Jacob.
Goodbye, everybody.
You leaving?
Yep.
Have a good night.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
I will, in fact, see you tomorrow, Jacob. What do you mean?
Yeah, Phil's gone. The girls are gone.
Oh.
I think everybody else is here, though. Yeah.
Christian will be here.
Matt will be here.
Jen will be here.
I'll be here.
You know what I mean? Jacob is sad. I think he's missing having a full department. Ugh. I'm pretty ready to be done with this model. This has been a long road of getting this model painted. But it will feel good to have it be finished. Oh man, we're back to scales. This hurts my soul. And I'm not going to paint anything with scales for so long. Oh my goodness. This is truly torture.
Hooper Triplet, first of all, there are no silly questions.
None whatsoever.
But your just question is, what do you do with your finished models? Jordan, what do you do with your finished models?
Well, it depends. Well, not
Bye, Jade.
really.
Have a good night.
Bye, Jade. The short answer to your question is they usually go in a case somewhere. Or they go on a shelf here in the studio where I can have them for people to look at or for me to show off on stream when I'm talking about stuff. Because most of the stuff that I do is largely so I can, teach or impart knowledge to you guys in one way or another. So a lot of the stuff that I'm working on, I can pull out and show. Like that Vader I've pulled out, a good handful of times already.
But that's one that's like for a game, right? That you actually play.
Yeah, and I do play that game, yeah. Although I haven't played it in a minute. I probably should play it more, to be honest. But yeah, it's just, you keep them around. I don't like keep it on my desk or anything. It's kind of like a weird question answer because it's like they go on a shelf to be enjoyed.
Well, when it looks like this, I mean, this is a piece of art. So
yeah
for sure.
Yeah,
display it.
There are very few models that I've painted to this extent.
Really?
Yeah. I think I've done. Well, I mean, I've done box art before, but I've never done box art for like this sort of stuff. I did one when I was at BAM of the Viking guy, which I don't know if you've seen it around before, but that was really fun. I really enjoyed that one. And then I have a Totem Huntress that I did from Privateer Press, which was, funny enough, was the first model that I ever painted up for a painting competition, which I entered at Nova.
Oh.
3 or 4 years ago when I was there.
Oh.
So that was fun. My friend Eric painted up the same model for the show, and his was way better than mine. But I still like that model. I think that model's pretty fun. I might bring it in and show it to you guys at some point. Be kind of a fun little show and tell.
I bet people would love to see more models that you've painted in the past, Jordan. They see Jason's all the time, so
yeah, I'll bring some stuff in.
Yeah.
I have like a whole case of painted models at home that I've done. The Totem Huntress is a big one that I've painted. I've done Sub Gladiator. And yeah, I have like a bunch of Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff that I could bring in that's super cool. Do I have any other stuff, really? I mean, not that I would like bring in because it looks nice. I have like a whole painted Lord of the Rings army, but I painted that whole army up in like 12 hours.
Oh, wow.
So it's not fancy, but it does look pretty cool on the table.
Do you have still do you remember the first model you painted, and do you still
that
have
I
it?
ever painted?
Yeah. Like, how old were you?
I was
kid.
It was before I moved to Washington. So I was younger than 10.
Okay. So yeah.
So I want to say I was 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
No, unfortunately. I had
really
some
cool.
of them. I mean, they're terrible. I mean, they're exactly what you would expect them to look like. But it was the Lord of the Rings, the Return of the King, or no, it was Two Towers starter set from Games Workshop, which would have been 2002, 2003, something like that.
Yeah.
Which was like right before I moved to Washington.
Yeah.
Because I think I moved in 2003 or something like that. Something like that. I was in 5th grade. I was in the middle of 5th grade when I moved.
That's like 10, yeah.
So I would have been like 10. And I was on the younger side.
Okay.
Because I didn't turn 18 until after I graduated high school.
Right, yeah. Same.
So, because I was on the...
Because you're August, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was on the younger side for my class.
Yep. I was always the youngest.
Yeah, so I might have been 9 at that point, depending. Right? 5th?
You're still 10 in 5th grade. You would have turned 10 probably right before school started.
Would I have been? Okay.
Yeah.
because I was usually younger than the average.
Oh, either way, 9 or
But
10.
yeah, 9 or 10. I always get it kind of twisted. But anyways, yeah, it was like, and I'm 30 now, so younger than that. What I've been painting for 20 something years, yeah. So now, not all of it has been productive learning, but I've been enjoying the hobby for a very long time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hello, can you use the Pro Acryl glaze and wash medium to thin your paints for regular painting? Absolutely, I do it all the time. Muns, remember the concept is anytime you want to add additional transparency to your paints, you can add the glaze and wash medium to do so without having to thin the viscosity of your paint. Ooh, that's a good question.
I started painting in 2016 when Jason taught me when he started streaming. I didn't know any of this existed until then.
Yeah.
I literally had no clue. Like when he tells me he took models to his mom's to paint, I had no idea. I thought that he didn't have anything to do there and just watched streaming.
Yeah.
And found the streamers that painted. And then came back and was like, this thing I used to do, people stream it, so I'm going to do it. I had no idea that he was actually painting while I was there. So completely brand new concept to me in 2016. And I do still have my first model.
Yeah? What is your first model?
It's the little pumpkin guy. It's probably up there somewhere. Because it was on the desk.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
My first one.
Very fun. I wish I had my first model that I ever painted. I wish I still had photos of the oh my gosh, my portfolio when I applied for privateer.
Yeah.
Man, those models looked horrible.
Really?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's so funny,
though.
like
Couldn't have been that bad.
it's by the comparison, right?
Well,
like
sure.
I look at like what I do now and I look at the stuff that I was doing back then and I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my gosh, it's so different.
It's just growth and change, and like, you know, like
Yeah.
when you think about people who, you know, like, oh my gosh, look at the clothes that we wore in the pictures from, you know, 1999. How could I ever have done that? Like, well, that's because that's what things were like then.
Yep.
You know,
It's true.
that was the style of painting, and this, you know, the technology, if you want to call it that, of painting has probably come a very long way in the last few years, just
Yep.
as more brands
Oh,
come out
100%.
and more
Absolutely.
products and
Yeah.
different techniques like the contrast paints and things like that. So yeah,
It's crazy.
I do not play games. I've played, I think, 3 games in the time that I've known about all this. Not really my jam. I get it. I appreciate the people who love them, but I don't know, my attention span is not long enough usually.
I think it's time to
Yeah, it's 5:05.
to finish
we're,
up
We're late. It's
because
definitely
I'm
quitting
hungry.
time.
I need to eat some dinner.
We'll get you guys over to that Longwart podcast, and you can
Yes, definitely.
listen to them with all their nerd talk.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out. It's a blast, as always. Thanks for all the links here that Jen's going to throw in. Don't forget about the store link where you can find all the paints that we painted with today. Don't forget we are Monument Hobbies. We make Pro Acryl. All the paints that we use on stream are the ones that we make by hand in our warehouse. And there's a Discord link, which is a great place for you guys to hang out and ask painting questions, generally learn cool, neat things about painting. We got tons of fantastic artists on there. We have challenges that we do every month for it as well. Speaking of challenges, our challenge for this month ends on the 31st at 11:59 p.m. So if you do have submissions that you are working on for that challenge, make sure you get them in. We will not be able to do the review for that month until we get back from Nova, but you guys have a little bit of extra time to get all your submissions done beforehand. I will post the challenge for September before I leave. You'll not be able to submit things until the 1st, but I will be posting it probably on the 29th. So you'll be able to see what it is, and you guys can figure out what models you want to work on ahead of time. Last link, don't forget the FLGS link. So if you want to find some Pro Acryl near you, especially if you live out of the country where it's a little bit more difficult to get stuff shipped to you, check the FLGS link to see if there's a store near you where you can pick it up or where you can order it from. Thank you guys again. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get over to Longmore TV so you can see Jason's face again. Yeah. And thank you guys so much again, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.